Hello and welcome to round 2 of World RX's Esports Series. We're marching towards getting back into real motorsport, but at the minute, of course, we're still stuck at home, most of us, so hoping to entertain you with some more racing today. My name is Andrew Coley. I'm normally the commentator for the FIA World Rallycross Championship in real life, but have been thoroughly enjoying bringing the action from Dirt Rally 2.0, of course, with Motorsport Games, Game Bite, Codemasters, Monster Energy, some of our key sponsors, Cooper Tyres. Great to have them all on board. We've got some brilliant drivers on board for you today as well. So looking forward to this. We raced last time out in Abu Dhabi. This weekend we are headed to Norway. We've got Sweden next weekend and we'll be rounding out the calendar with a visit to Cape Town. Going to be some fantastic action. I can't do it all on my own, so please welcome Neil Cole. Neil, where is he? There he is. How the devil are we? All right?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks, Coley. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much, mate. Yeah, looking forward to this. I say, Hell, Lankerbarnen. Yes, thank you. It was Kelvin van der Linde's birthday yesterday as well. He's on our grid. Unfortunately, Kelvin is younger than me, which is bad for me. Good for him, I guess. I was Lewis Hamilton's race number, if you're keen to know. But yeah, Neil, we're looking forward to this. We're headed to Norway, to the Lankerbarnen, which of course is the proper name for the track, but Hell, which is the fantastically named town in which that track is located.
Yeah, it's the most northerly track that we go to, and possibly one of the most northerly tracks in the whole FIA. It's 63 degrees latitude, and Hell, actually, although it's a hilarious name because it sort of has connotations, fiery connotations, actually in Old Norse means the cave in the side of a mountain, which is very sort of appropriate because that's exactly what this circuit is like. It's carved out the side of a picturesque mountain, and it's very dramatic in its elevation.
Yeah, super steep, big curbs. First corner joker here, which is on gravel. We've seen some spectacular joker laps in real life and in game. So expect the strategy here to be very different than the circuits you've seen before because the field will be split in that turn one maneuver. So it should be good fun. Last time out, I say, was Abu Dhabi. That was won by Shane van Gisbergen. Let's take a look at the championship standings after round one. And you'll be able to get a feel for who was quick there and who's quick generally, I think, within the game, it's fair to say. Shane van Gisbergen with 29 points, just 1 point shy of a clean sweep, which is a 30-pointer where you win every single qualifying session, your semi and your final. But in fact, he missed it by one. He was beaten in the semi. It was Tom Blomqvist, I think, who beat him in semi-final one last time out. So the gears is back this time round. We've got then Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen, of course, P1 and P3 in last year's World Rallycross Championship in real life. Henrik Krogstad, Rokas Bachuska, Tom Blomqvist, Kelvin van der Linde. Happy birthday to him. Same day as me yesterday. And then Alex Day, fail race, is down in 8th. There were 20 drivers in... here's the rest. Look. Fraser McConnell, Enland, Farashkin, Leclerc, Pai, Baccarat, Scheider, and Guerrieri were all with us last time. Now, some of those guys aren't with us this time out, and that, of course, is because they've got various different real-life commitments coming in. We're very grateful to them for giving us their time. We can take a look at our Zoom screen, which should give you some of the drivers in their various sim rooms, in their various sim locations. Be able to see some of the drivers. There they are. So, and immediately a new one you could see bottom middle there, Tamara Molinaro, a rally driver who we're looking forward to joining us this time. At the top, we've got Orhan Avjolu, who is joining us, another rally driver. Sivert Svardal, top left there, giving us a wave. Thank you. Matvey Farashkin on the left with some trophies and stuff on the wall behind him. Kevin Hansen looking chilled. Timmy Hansen looking... I don't know. What is he looking at us? Is he maybe looking at his WhatsApps? I don't know. Timmy's now he's knee up, knee down. Marius Birmingham, Max Coates top right. We're really hoping Max is going to be able to join us. He's working really hard to try and get things together. So, and Rokas Bachuska down at the bottom. So we want to get things underway as quickly as we possibly can. So let's take a look at the track at which these guys are going to be racing. It's our track guide from last year, I believe, with Andreas Baccarat. Lankerbarnen, Hell, Norway. We're very close to Trondheim. You can see the start goes up to turn one. Joker lap in turn one. We're at the top of that joker lap with a bird's eye view of... We've seen some pretty sideways stuff during the course of practice this morning. So this is Andreas up towards the finish line. And Dan, first of all, he takes standard lap. Now that braking zone's really bumpy.
Yeah, super hard. We've heard lots of front bumpers scraping along the floor. The back end of the car starts to get loose as it's going through the compressions. And then we drop down the left-hander there I was talking about, which is completely blind. And then again another downhill braking section onto gravel.
Into the bottom corner, so Andreas slightly deep and slightly too sideways there, but this was very early in the session, so the gravel was really loose, and we've seen the lap times increase. Down another tricky corner here.
Yeah, fully blind on the way in, but you've got to set the car up sideways, and you're basically looking at the barrier on the way down there, and you've got to be really brave and committed to try and get a good lap.
Up and over the finish. Now he comes down towards the Joker lap this time. So onto the loose here. Early on the handbrake, sets the car up. Gas, gas, gas. Gears, gears, gears down the hill. And that is just into the second corner again on the run down. So here we go then, we're ready for Q1 race 1 already. We of course are standing on the front of the grid looking back at the cars. So on this one, on the pole, you've got Orhan Avjolu. He sent us a voice message this morning to tell us how to say his name correctly. Thank you very much, Orhan. I've been guilty of getting many names wrong for many years. It's a professional problem for commentators, I guess. Scott Pye next to him. Then we've got Kevin Hansen, Martin Enland, and Matvey Farashkin. So let's get down to the grid, and then we can start talking you through our various different drivers who are taking part this weekend. So I say that is from the front of the grid, and we will see it from behind for the run down towards the first corner. You heard from Dan Rook, our co-commentator in real life, in the track preview there that was taken from one of our streams from last year. Good on board with Backward in the Monster Energy Audi. Of course, Backward moving across this year to GCK. We're all so excited to get back to real-life racing. I know the guys at IMG have been working incredibly hard to try and get us into a situation where we can go racing again. Of course, it's basically down to the various different countries around the world and what they're doing with their COVID regulations as to just how long it's going to be before we can do that. But I can tell you they're working super hard on it, and we're going to get ourselves back there just as soon as we possibly can. In the meantime, we hope you are enjoying this. So Scott Pye, of course, Australian V8 racer. P2 on the grid for this one. Orhan, by the way, is very fast, Neil, isn't he? You've been checking out Orhan's times on the DiRT leaderboard.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot online on Dirt Rally 2.0, both competitively and just for fun, and having a few sort of free time trials laps on Hell. And I noticed that Orhan is actually up there. He's 1/100th of a second quicker, his best time, than Shane van Gisbergen around Hell, 33.72 versus 33.73. So Orhan's been putting in the practice, and he's pretty tasty around here.
Okay, now we're ready to go racing. Good stuff. That is exactly what the view looks like if you're at the Lankabanen. And there's the view for the drivers. It's downhill off the start, then a little bit uphill round to the right in towards the Joker lap. Spotters Tower you can see on the left-hand side. Ready to race light on at the top of your screen. We've got a great view of that this time round. We're behind Kevin Hansen. Green light on the right-hand side. Brilliant start for Orhan. Orhan tearing down towards turn one. Bit of contact behind him. Oh, and he gets nudged wide. He was going to get the whole shot there and has ended up down in P3. I think a couple of people have gone Joker straight away. Kevin Hansen up the inside of Scott Pye. Scott Pye losing a position there, dropping back. So Kevin Hansen leads on the run down to the bottom of the hill. It was Martin Enland and Matvey Farashkin who went Joker on lap 1. Neil, that was a pretty typical first corner for Norway. Maybe a bit more contact on the straight than we'd see normally.
Yeah, they weren't all straight enough for long enough, really. I know that when you're doing this esports attacking, there are a lot more sideways, but that was a bit too sideways too early, I think, maybe from Orhan. And it just meant he got caught up, and now he's dropped way to the back and hasn't even jokered yet. So, bad start for Orhan.
Yeah, not ideal. Kevin Hansen, you can see on the handbrake, really early rotating the car around. We had a little bit of understeer there from one of the drivers in the background. This is the gravel corner at the bottom of the hill, which is absolutely crucial. And look how much it nearly comes in really wide, comes out really wide, literally every inch of the track. And this left-hander here is completely blind, isn't it, in real life and in the game?
Completely blind, as is this crest over the start-finish line, which is a little jump. You have to get that absolutely right, because that is a very fast straight. The start-finish straight, up to about 150 kilometers an hour before you take the handbrake to the right-hander.
So into the Joker lap in the background, was that Orhan? It was. So Orhan of Jolu has gone into the Joker lap on this one. So it's going to come down to Kevin Hansen and Scott Pye out front. So Scott Pye is another one of our Australian V8 races. Of course, races with Shane van Gisbergen, who won esports for World RX last time out Abu Dhabi. And he actually plays quite a lot online with Shane. So we know these guys are super quick. Kevin Hansen does seem to have the edge on the minute. But last time, really, nobody could touch van Gisbergen, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not this time it's going to play out the same way. So showing lap 4 out of 4, we've missed the jokers out front. Kevin Hansen, has he been beaten by Enland? No, he's just in front of Martin. There it is. So Kevin Hansen just in front of Martin Enland. It was a 1/10 of a second. It's up to 3/10 now. Enland with a look up the inside, pushes Kevin Hansen wide, but can't quite make it work. Hansen going to block on the brakes. Enland again looks to the inside as he comes over the crest left. You're on board with him now. Kevin Hansen just in front. And there's Kevin Hansen coming up to take the first checker flag of the day. It's a win for Kevin Hansen with Enland and Farashkin close behind. Scott Pye dropping back. So I wonder if Scott made a mistake there, because he was very, very, mind you, I suppose there's only 2.5 seconds in it, isn't there? And Orhan with that contact on the run down to the first corner. So Kevin Hansen has set that time 2:24.4. I'm going to make a note of that now because I can't remember anything. As you'll know if you've been watching this as a series. There we go, 2:24.485. Okay, grid then for race 2. On the inside, you've got Tom Blomqvist. Remember, it's a right-hander at turn 1. Next to him, Alex Day, fail race. Then we've got Timmy Hansen, Tamara Molinaro, and Henrik Krogstad. So Timmy Hansen, of course, the World Rallycross champion in real life. Alex Day, our very famous YouTuber who's been with us for both our invitational events and the first 2 rounds of the Esports Series. Henrik Krogstad, RX2 front runner, and Tamara Molinaro. So Italian WRC2 drivers, one of the best female rally drivers in the world. And that is one of the beauties, of course, of motorsport, is that men and women compete completely equally. And we're very pleased to have Tamara along for this. She does have some real life rallycross experience. Let's see what she's like at Dirt Rally 2.0. Just waiting on the drivers to get into the lobby, the pre-grid, and then we'll be good to go. Neil, thoughts on this one? Tom Blomqvist was fast last time, wasn't he? But Timmy Hansen equally so.
Yeah, I think all eyes on Timmy versus Tom really on this one, but don't count out Tamara. She's been putting in a lot of practice.
Good stuff. Tamara looks to have taken, I think it's the Larson liveried Audi. Waiting for a ready to race light. There it is at the top of your screen. No, Tamara's on the right-hand side, sorry. So it'll be Alex Day, who, of course, is stuck with his normal livery. Brilliant start on the outside there for Henrik Krogstad. Going to get to turn 1 first. Timmy Hansen just behind him. I'm not sure anybody's joking on lap 1, Neil. That's really unusual. And for me, Tamara could have gone joker there, and it maybe would have played into her hands. These guys are close together. They're going to lose a bit of time battling, I think.
Especially based on grid position, your instinct would be to stay out left and stay out for the joker. Or someone into the
too far left there.
Tamara. Yeah.
Oh, Krogstad's run deep. Timmy Hansen going to look up the inside. That's an easy pass. Krogstad gave that to him. Came over the crest left just a little bit too hard. Blomqvist has managed to pass fail race in that corner as well. There you're looking at Timmy Hansen with Kevin Hansen sitting with him, and I wonder if these guys are spotting for each other. We've spoken about having a real-life spotter, and I know a couple of people have been trying. I think, was it Wesley Wickens have been trying it online? He's one of the dirt guys who's made it up to the very top of the World Championship, and he had a real-life spotter when he was playing Esports Online. I think you'll see that from Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen in our picture-in-picture that you just saw a moment ago. Oh, Timmy nudges the wall there, Neil. It's easily done, and that could push you wide too.
The lap before, though, Timmy was very, very neat when he did the overtake move on the inside of Henrik and was able to lean on him slightly, which is, of course, the beauty of this being a contact sport to a certain extent. I know in the Discord chat,
Henrik's
lots of
gone
drivers have been
joker.
talking about whether they...
Henrik's gone joker, sorry, Neil. He's just got out in front of Tom Blomqvist.
Yep.
Super close between them. Blomqvist going to try and come down towards the hairpin, but can't get it done. So Blomqvist then very quick. If he's right on the back of Krogstad, I think we'll see Timmy Hansen. Well, we're going to have to see Timmy Hansen joker, of course, because he's going to be coming up for his last lap. But, oh, spin!
Oh.
Contact, hooked the wall on the inside. Henrik Krogstad hooked the wall too hard. Somehow he's recovered from it, and he's right behind. So right behind Tom Blomqvist. Over the crest, Blomqvist comes in the background. Alex Day is there as well. Where's Timmy Hansen? Looking now for Timmy coming out of the joker merge. There he is. He's miles in front. He's destroyed them, Neil. That must have been an absolutely bang-on joker from Timmy.
Yeah, once he's got clear air and everyone else is squabbling behind, absolutely perfect for Timmy Hansen just to bang in this final joker lap across the line first. And of course, don't forget, qualifying, it's all about the quickest times to get as far up the timesheets in each qualifying heat.
Going to be very close to his brother's time. I think Timmy's just beaten Kevin's time by a tiny amount. Blomqvist, fail race, Krogstad have all crossed the line. Tamara Molinaro just a little way further back. So Tamara, of course, had her issues in turn 2, I think. No, turn 3 down the bottom of the hill. Ran wide and tapped the barrier. She's going to come across the line in 5th. And Hansen, Timmy, 2:22.777. And that is just a couple of seconds quicker, nearly a couple of seconds quicker than his brother Kevin went. And that, for me, that last lap was absolutely fantastic. Neil, you were saying you've been chatting with the drivers on something. Was it Discord?
So on the Discord, there's a lot of chat about places that you remember we saw in Yas Marina, there was one big cut that you could take that wasn't being penalised, and a lot of the drivers sort of grouping together to decide that they'll be sportsmanlike and not take big cuts, even if they would actually technically be allowed by the game. So, obviously they've been trying to police their own contact, but that was a lot of contact in that race, which may be under investigation, that wasn't penalised in the game.
Right, so the grid there, I'm afraid, has been rather decimated. As you can see, we've got a few people this morning who have had some issues with their connections and with their tech. Just in the same way you have an issue with your transmission or your engine in real life, I'm afraid this time round it's been an issue with their tech. So we're left with Sivert Svardal and Marius Bermingud. Max Coates, we know he's trying really hard to join in, and if he can get his issues fixed, he will do. Super equal start between them. Neil, 2-on-2 for me. If I was on the outside, I'd go Joker lap 1, and interestingly, doesn't.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just split the strategy. It'd have been, not particularly exciting for us to watch, but just in terms of getting clean racing, maybe they actually want to race against each other and contact slowing each other down.
Yeah, bit of contact there, and maybe I think that would be one of the points at which you would step in the game there, Neil, wouldn't it, with 4 wheels off on the inside of a curb. Contact again, Birmingham, bottom right of your screen. He's got a green headset on and a green car as well. They're still side by side, so they're definitely losing time by not splitting the strategy. Are they going to go this time? Yes. So this time Birmingham goes in, and where is Svardal? As Svardal stayed out. So Neil, I actually think as well, the thing here, do you remember it was the year that Bakkerud took Solberg into the Joker on purpose on lap 1. It was in a semi-final. Bakkerud knew that if Solberg jokered on lap 1, that he would have the edge on him. I think he was in the Polo. So Bakkerud actually ran him off into the Joker lap and forced him to take the Joker lap on lap 1 with him, and therefore meant that he couldn't pass. And again, the pole man in this race, I think, could have done that. Would have been tactically pretty clever.
Yeah, I remember that really clearly, because Peters could not believe the chutzpah of Andreas Bakkerud to do that to him at home. And it was an incredible move. I mean, really, really bold, but brilliant strategy. This one, though, once Svardal actually takes the Joker.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was it Dave Mansfield who was spotting for Andreas then? I can't remember what year it was and whether or not Dave was. Dave, of course, has been at GCK as well, so I'm not sure. But it was a brilliant tactic, wasn't it? Was it a hooligan year or not? I can't remember. But either way, I remember it was a Svardal's gone Joker there. It was just a brilliant piece of tactics. Looking for the merge here. This one could be close. Svardal on the inside, so Svardal just gets but runs a bit deep in the hairpin. Birmingham and Svardal absolutely neck and neck in terms of pace. Up the inside again, over the curbs, both of them, 2 sideways. I think that's going to hand it to Sivert Svardal's going to just have a couple of car lengths on the run up the hill. Should mean that Birmingham can't get a look here, but he runs a little bit deep. Lots of chances to overtake here. So Sivert Svardal going to take this 2-horse race from Marius Birmingham. Very close between them. Actually, not a bad time. So Kevin Hansen did a 2:24.4, and that's a 2:24.1. So 2:24.1 from Sivert Svardal.
That's quicker than Kevin. But Kevin, of course, got himself caught up with Scott Pye. That's the thing, is that Kevin sort of slowed himself down a bit by squabbling with Scott. So that's very good.
I was
very
expecting that to be slower. Yeah, considering the scrap that, considering those guys were together for the whole of their first lap. Anyway, on to race 4 from Q1. Hayden Padden, great to have the WRC legend along. He's not, unfortunately, this time in his Hyundai, because, of course, he's backed by Hyundai New Zealand, and they've been working on some fantastic projects together. He was going to be doing WRC New Zealand. Of course, COVID meant that hasn't happened, which is a real shame. Looking forward to seeing Padden back out in WRC. He's also working on an electric rally car. And the components he's using are from Stard, the guys who are making the electric parts for the rallycross cars in Project E. So really, really great to have Padden along. Again, he's got some real-life experience of rallycross as well. Niklas Anetlev, Rokas Pachuska for GCK, Kelvin van der Linde, happy birthday for yesterday, and Shane van Gisbergen, totally and utterly untouchable last time out in Abu Dhabi. How much practice has Shane put in for this?
Just for the record, Nick, when I did some competing at Yas Marina in another race series, Nicholas Anaklev put me in the wall before turn one in one race. So let's all eyes on him.
Well, Neil, it's totally deserved after the amount of contact you gave me at Lowiak last time in esports. I think we turned it into after we were P4 and P5 on the start, me and Neil basically had a banger race for the entire of the rest of the heat. It was good fun. It's cheap, luckily, in the game, not in real life. Here we go, ready to race, lights on. You're behind Rokas Baciuska in the centre of the grid. It's even his logo on the roof. Look, how fantastic is this? Waiting for the green. Great start by Baciuska. You can see equal to him on the right. A little bit of contact. It's Hayden Padden. Padden gets sideways. Baciuska is sideways too. Just about holds on. He's gone in backwards. That's like a Liam Doran Estering entry into the Joker lap. Somehow holds on to it. So Baciuska holding on to it. And he has jokered with Shane Van Gisberg and Kelvin van der Linde. That leaves Hayden Padden out front. Padden out almost a barrier tap. There isn't any more track left to take there. Niklas Aneklev is in P2. Padden doesn't use quite the same amount of track some of the guys using as he comes up and around. And now going to head to take his first lap. So Padden now, Neil, has got to get his focus in. He could go Joker now and try and block them. Let's see, where's he going to go? Takes the standard lap.
I'm not sure that Rokas Baciuska intended to go Joker. It looked like he was nudged and he carried on. That's why he went quite so sideways and backed into the Joker, because it was a last-minute decision.
Yeah,
so
good
many
shout,
actual overtaking places on this track, even though it looks so tight.
Look at that, Van Gisbergen. Straight up the inside, but Van Gisbergen maybe going to lose out to Baciuska up the straight. He slots in behind him now, looking big in the mirrors. Van Gisbergen's tidy on the inside, going to flick it back to the other side, get the cart back on Baciuska. Now he's got the inside lines, they run towards turn one. Up and over the crest, side-by-side contact. Baciuska with the spin, he's in a wall. So Baciuska hits the wall, loses a place, drops back. Shane Van Gisbergen is up into P2. Into the Joker lap, I think has gone. And Neklev has gone into the Joker lap. He has. So Hayden Padden is now up front. He's got a 1.8 second lead over Shane Van Gisbergen. I'll tell you what, Neil, that's not the guy you want behind you heading into the last lap.
Especially now he's dispatched any of his nearest rivals to him door to door, and he's hunting down Hayden Padden with 1 lap to go. One thing that's interesting I've spotted watching these guys on Twitch and on their various streams while they're practicing is Shane Van Gisbergen does not use the handbrake. I mean, I need 100% confirmation of this, but while all of these other drivers will be handbraking around most of these, at least half of these corners, the Giz does not use the handbrake, which is extraordinary.
Yeah, tidy, it's the racing style, isn't it? And I think if you've got the car set up right, maybe you don't need it. I mean, you would, in real life, you definitely would, as Baciuska gets the better of Padden, and Padden's got the better exit. Padden with enough traction up the hill, maybe to hold on to the position. Got to get on the brakes, keep it in tight. Baciuska pushes him wide. Baciuska holding on. Padden's not having that. You can have some of that back sunshine. Padden facing the wrong way now. Spins the car around. And Hayden Padden dropping down the order. Niklas Aneklev side by side with him. It was Shane Van Gisbergen who took it with a 2:22.9. And that is just 0.2 of a second behind Timmy Hansen's time. So a 2:22.923. Fantastic job by Van Gisbergen. I think that's enough for second place in the session. It is. So, Neil, Van Gisbergen quick again. Actually, I'm not sure we saw anyone's ultimate pace there. Timmy maybe had the clearest run, did he, I think? Thinking back to race two.
Once he'd done that overtaking move, he had it pretty much clearly his own way. But no one's had a fully clean race so far. So we can see these times dropping as long as they don't squabble so much. But that's the beauty of this, is that they actually have to, they've put in tens, if not hundreds of hours of practice with no one side by side, and now they're racing against people who are used to using the same line that they want. So this is where it gets crucial. They're going for their apexes, they're going for that point on that marker, that barrier, that's where they hit the handbrake, but suddenly there's 3 cars in your way. So you suddenly have to adjust and adapt and evolve your style and everything you've practiced to get your times down, because there's other drivers in the way.
Timo Scheider's message. Thanks, Timo. I hear you. He's watching the stream. Vincent has messaged as well, one of our IMG guys, saying that Yigit Timur is actually spotting for Orhan. So Yigit Timur is a Top Sport, an RX2 driver. So that's what we were talking about, having a real life driver spotting for you, or a real life spotter spotting for you. They can just see what's going on, particularly with this turn one Joker. That first corner, your spotter really is only going to be able to tell you whether or not you're clear on the inside. We've got some replays, so we might be able to see some of the starts anyway. Let's take a look at the replays when we can. But yeah, the spotter can tell you whether or not you're clear on the inside, whether or not you'll be able to just split off to the left. They'll maybe saying clear left or clear right, or one car inside you. But yeah, look, we're going to take a look at the replays, and then hopefully we can pick apart some of those first corners. So yeah, this is the run to turn one. You're looking at, I see Kevin Hansen for me there, Neil. Actually, it was Kevin that was doing the squeezing there. I don't think there was quite enough room to be shutting the door, but he managed to hold on and take the win. So it played okay for him. Krogstad, look at this recovery. It's ridiculous. He's still there, having had a 360.
Yeah, it's like dancing on ice. It's beautiful.
Now, these two, this would have been the easiest Joker strategy. You could have just split on the first run and at the first lap. You know, I definitely would have done that. Or as I say, if you're the pole man, maybe force the other guy to go into the Joker outside you. Neil, you're dead right there with Baciuska. That contact meant he had no choice, did he?
Oh, absolutely. But it was a brilliant, he adapted perfectly because he kept his foot down so that he was fast into the Joker and then had to back it in. But very, very nice instinct there. That's racing instinct.
Some fair old aggression on some of the passes too. So this one, was this up the inside of Padden? No, maybe it's at the bottom of the hill. Let's take it. I'm not going to see that one. And then up to the top. Okay, yes, that's that one there is the one where I wonder whether or not. Okay, there was definitely, that was 6-1 and half a dozen of the other, Neil. There it was. I would say
sure
Padden
that's
was
how either of them.
No, they both have their own view on it, which is that it was his fault, which is fine. But yeah, I think Baciuska. Well, Padden didn't seem very happy with Baciuska on the second to last corner there, did he? And gave it straight back to him in the hairpin. So I think both of them would be heading up to the stewards for
the great thing
chat.
about the esports is that obviously between sessions when we do the real weekend, we have time where people get to calm down. They speak to their mentors, their team boss, and they sort of calm down. Whereas now it's straight into the next heat, and they've already got the heat of, well, I had contact with that person. Is it going to repeat again and see red?
So Sivert Svardal on the inside, then Tom Blomqvist, Tamara Molinaro, Henrik Krogstad, and Scott Pye. Here we go. Waiting for these guys to get from the lobby, or in the lobby even, so that we can go racing. Svardal on the pole. Middle of the grid.
So when we look at this grid, we would expect the outside two to possibly go straight to Joker just to stay out of trouble, just to try and get a clean lap. Let's watch and see if that happens. Well, we got one. Tamara went to Joker.
We're looking at Tamara now, Neil. So Tamara is in the McGann. What was Tamara in last time? There is Tamara Molinaro. Look, glancing across to her left. Not sure whether that's another screen she's got. You're on board now, heading up towards the hairpin. So forgive the confusion. I think Molinaro's changed cars to Shisharit's car. I'm sure she was in an Audi in Q1. So that's a tactic we've not seen before. I quite like it. You know, why not? You know, I think there were plenty of people in 2018 who would quite like to have swapped to Johan Kristoffersen's car directly after Q1 or any lap at any point during the weekend, basically. But yeah, apparently tomorrow, since you made a mistake picking the wrong car, don't worry about it tomorrow. We're glad to have you here, and we're liking your style. If you don't like the car you've got, change it. That's awesome. Sivert Svardal leading from Henrik Krogstad. Krogstad taking a wide line, looking to try and see if he can make a tenth or two up. Scott Pye's joking already. How far back is he? Waiting for him to cross the timing line. Blomqvist is in front, is he? Yeah, Blomqvist is in front of him. Super close on the timing. Again, Krogstad out wide. Svardal's looking good here, you know.
Very good. And what's happening here is we've got these two setting a good time out front, but then the train of three behind are also good. So when they eventually joker these two, they could be, well, just coming out in front of the train behind, but there's a chance they could overlap.
So Sivert Svardal actually won the European Championship in the touring car class, which no longer runs, unfortunately. It's not quite popular enough to have a full grid. 2-litre rear-wheel drive cars, and Svardal won the championship, and then unfortunately there'd been a problem with the fuel, and he had the championship taken away, which is pretty heartbreaking because it was an accident, it wasn't a cheat. So that's a real shame. He is this year going to make his supercar debut in Euro RX in an ex-Anton Markram Polo. So I'd love to see Sivert Svardal doing that. I have to say, handy as well at Dirt Rally 2.0. We've heard from race control as well, the results are delayed for the previous session. Baciuska is talking to the stewards. So is that because Baciuska is in trouble? We hear a 5-second penalty in Q1 for Baciuska. So that's just come in. Baciuska's been given a 5-second penalty. I'm guessing that is for the contact in the second to last corner with Hayden Padden. So there we go. Baciuska, 5-second penalty in Q1 that's going to drop him down the order. Meanwhile, Sivert Svardal has taken that with a 2:23.0, which is a decent time. And we're ready for the next one. Baciuska then, who will be fresh from his stewarding telling off. He's on the pole for this. Next to him is Avjolu. Then we've got Max Coates. We're not sure if Max has managed to get his connection sorted. Shane Van Gisbergen and Alex Day. So Van Gisbergen on... go on, Neil.
If we see that there is a gap in the middle of the grid because Max hasn't been able to get into the lobby, then that is an absolute dream for Shane and Orhan to be able to sort of breathe a little bit away from Alex on the one side and Rokas on the other, because both of them don't mind putting their elbows out. Yeah,
I think they'll. Unfortunately, I think the grid will compress, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what happened with Svardal. What happened in the first one? Yes, Svardal and Birmingham grid were next to each other.
Oh, yes.
So I know exactly what you mean, Neil, because you were thinking the same as me. Real life, if you get someone missing from the grid, it's a result, isn't it? Because you've just, particularly here, where the first corner is so busy. I was going to say, I think Van Gisbergen, for me, if he's done enough. So have we got Max then in the middle of the grid?
Welcome,
so
Max.
Max was showing in the Mini, but okay, we're behind Van Gisbergen. We're pretty sure that that's Max Coates to the right. We'll wait and see what appears when the timing appears at the top of your screen. No, okay, we're showing Christian Sabo, so we're going to assume that is Max Coates. I don't know. Baciuska leading. Van Gisbergen didn't get the start there, so it's Baciuska with contact there, straight into the back of Van Gisbergen, and I think that's possibly is it Max? So we think it's Max Coates who's in Sabo's car, or no, so Coates has dropped further back. It's Orhan. So it's Orhan who's all over the back of Van Gisbergen. So a bit of contact between them, and that's given Baciuska an excuse to check out. But Neil, Baciuska will be grumpy, won't he, with a 5-second penalty from Q1?
Well, it'll be what I was talking about before. You know, you don't get the chance to really cool your head, cool your jets between races. So it's straight back out there, feeling aggrieved or otherwise. But, you know, he's got to make this count because he's 5 seconds down the leaderboard because of the penalty. So he's really, really got to check out here, and he's got the one person behind him keeping him honest that he does not want, which is the Giz, who we know is an absolute weapon here in this series.
Van Gisbergen ran all the way out behind the cones there. Not sure what the track limits are in the game. If he's exceeded those within the game, he'll be given an automatic penalty. He hasn't lost much time, but Van Gisbergen was out behind the cones on the back straight coming up over the jump. Avjolu is right with him. And Van Gisbergen's going to get in trouble for that, definitely. So Baciuska there has gone for the standard line. Van Gisbergen has gone to take the Joker. And in fact, he's lost out in the Joker as well. So Shane Van Gisbergen here not having the greatest run. And Alex Day gives it to him as well. So Van Gisbergen, who destroyed everyone at Abu Dhabi, is really having to scrap for this one. I say, definitely for me, there was a bit of contact on the way into the Joker there, Neil, which was questionable. This time, I think questionable in Baciuska's favour.
Yes. I think that Shane had a split second that he could have pulled out of that, and he just didn't. He kept the throttle down and collected him on the way. So yeah, that was a little questionable decision-wise, and it means that he's dropped some time too.
I think he was expecting Baciuska to rotate more, so expecting Baciuska to be out of his way. So you keep it pinned. Obviously, you don't want to lose. This is one of the things about this Joker up here. Now he's in the door of Baciuska again. So, racing now to the line. Orhan Avjolu leads here. Shane Van Gisbergen right behind. Baciuska's going to put him into the back of Avjolu. Van Gisbergen up the inside in the last corner, trying to take the win. Absolutely epic driving by Van Gisbergen here, but he's going to lose out at the end. No, so okay. So it's showing that Van Gisbergen has won by a second, but I'm pretty sure that will go to the stewards. I actually don't think there was any malice in it. I think Van Gisbergen thought Baciuska would be out of his way. And going into that joker lap, you don't want to lift because you lose too much time. So ideally, if you've got a clear run in front of you, the breaking point is later. Van Gisbergen, unfortunately, couldn't do that. Baciuska hadn't cleared the corner in front of him, and he lost out and span him round. So I reckon that'll go to the stewards, but we'll see.
Also, Avjolu did get a 5-second penalty in that, which is probably for track limits. So over and above
why he's dropped down.
Yeah, so he dropped down. So he crossed the line side by side with Shane Van Gisbergen, but he has dropped down to 4th in that race.
Thank you, Neil. Well spotted on the timing. Kevin Hansen on pole for this with Hayden Patton, Kelvin van der Linde, Matvej Farashkin and Niklas Aneklev.
Now, Matvej Farashkin, of course, the graduate from autocross, very talented young peddler, but he was sort of making friends, let's say, last time round with his sort of elbows out attitude. Let's see if that suits this track, because we've already seen quite a lot of paint being traded around the corners of hell.
I think the drivers are starting just to push their luck a little bit more, aren't they, as to what they can get away with. And that's where, our stewards will get a little bit stricter if they feel that's happening. Kevin Hansen on the pole on the inside, Hayden Patton in the white Audi. Amazing start on the outside, though, so I wonder there, has Aneklev, was there a glitch? Has Aneklev jumped the start? Aneklev absolutely epic, side-by-side contact up into the joker lap. That was Farashkin who's managed to get the better of Kelvin van der Linde. So there is Kelvin van der Linde. You can see the South African flag on the side of his black Audi. And Kevin Hansen, look, already up with Niklas Aneklev. And Aneklev just fires Hayden Patton straight, mind you. Whether that was on purpose or not, it's hard to tell. We need to see a replay. But you'll remember, Neil, Timmy Hansen hit that wall, didn't he, in a very similar fashion to that, and gave Peugeot a hell of a job to do to get his car back out a couple of years ago here.
Remember it very clearly, and that's a pretty brutal, because all of these barriers tend to have a bit of Norwegian countryside and the back of it to kind of stop it moving very far. So yes, that would have been a very heavy impact there.
It's a mountain, yeah. It doesn't move very much. Look for it on the exit. I'm pretty sure. And there's a spin there on the run down the hill. So spin and contact. Not quite sure what's happened there. Up and over the crest comes. You're looking at Farashkin. So Matvej Farashkin's got a bit of clear track in front of him. Where's Kevin Hansen? I haven't seen Kevin for a while. Is Kevin that far away? Still looking at Matvej coming over the crest. Matvej coming up towards turn 1. We've got another lap to go after this. There's Kevin. So you saw Kevin Hansen disappearing off into the second hairpin. Look how much of a gap he's got. 4.1 seconds. Kevin Hansen here looking to be on a bit of a flyer. I wonder whether or not he's going to be able to do the same kind of perfect joke we saw his brother Timmy do in Q1. So watch for Kevin Hansen. Here you go, you're on board with him now. So up and over the crest, clips the curb on the inside, over the jump, coming up now towards the joker. See whether or not he gets it bang on. In towards the inside, he's straight on the brakes, on the handbrake. Not bad at all, out towards the wall. I don't think Matvej's going to be close enough to be any kind of a problem for him. He isn't. So it's 4.1-0 down to 1.8. So what's that saying? That it's about 2.3, we reckon, the difference between the standard lap and the joker lap.
Yeah, 2.3 is pretty standard. It wasn't the quickest, but it was neat and tidy. That's the secret, is getting it, making sure you get it safe.
Fastest time of the day so far is a 2:22.777. What's Kevin going to do? He's not going to do it, so it's a 2:23, I think, for Kevin. Farashkin and Kelvin van der Linde cross the line. Niklas Aneklev is still out there. He's in one of the Ericsson machines. Of course, Sebastian Ericsson winning Hollius last year in that car. Oh, yes, now we're talking. So Hayden Patton, look, with everything hanging off the car. Front right wing's gone, bonnet's gone, front bumper's gone. Get in, Hayden. Hayden, unfortunately, isn't going to make the finish line before the time limit. So Hayden Patton with the DNF there. That's a shame for him.
And
Kevin Hansen takes it.
Jump start.
Yes. Disconnection for Farashkin as too. So that Farashkin had a disconnection, and then we've got the plus 30 for Aneklev. I thought it was a bit too much of a good start, but the important time there is Kevin Hansen, look, who's actually ends up well, and a penalty look too for Kelvin van der Linde. So Kevin Hansen's the only person in that one who didn't have a problem. Timmy Hansen on the pole with Marius Bermengrud, Martin Enland, Nestor Girolami and Tessa Wittek. Now, Tessa, we know, isn't in this, unfortunately. And I don't think Nestor is either, Neil. Some problems for them.
Yeah, it's a real shame. I think with Tessa, it was to do with her VR because she drives with a brilliant virtual reality setup, and I think it wasn't working this morning, which meant that it was impossible to reset all of her settings to standard mode. And Bebu Girolami, brilliant touring car driver, it's very, very early over in Argentina, just can't get connected at the moment. He may still join us, but for now, this should be a relatively straight fight between Timmy, Marius, and Martin.
Now, I must say, I had a go the other day, Neil, for the first time ever with the VR headset, actually on the original Dirt Rally. So the one with Paul Coleman on the pace notes, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. Sitting in the car and looking around you, and particularly in rallycross, when you want to be able to look out of the side window on the run to turn one and see whether or not you've got the edge on the guy or the girl next to you, it was absolutely brilliant. So I totally understand why Tessa would want to drive in VR. If you don't have one of the big fancy screens as well. Ready to race light is on. Timmy Hansen on the very inside. It's a good start by Birmingham and by Timmy Hansen. Timmy Hansen on the left-hand side of your screen coming down. Surely going to take the standard line. Birmingham goes straight to the Joker on the inside. Enland has managed to get the better of him. So Enland, well, now Birmingham's alongside, though, in the inside for turn 2. Going to push him just a little bit wide. That's pretty standard Norway stuff there, but they're still side by side on the run down towards the hairpin. Enland now's got the inside line. Birmingham Grid gets pushed just slightly wide. Going to straighten the car up on the throttle on the exit and try and chase him up the hill. But it's Enland and Birmingham Grid having taken their Jokers sideways out towards that curb. Timmy Hansen, though, with an absolutely clear run here. And Neil, I think we can expect him to bang in the times.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this little battle between the Norwegian and the Swede have absolutely allowed Timmy Hansen to treat this like another practice session. 4 clean laps, one of them's a joker, and it'll just be like he's been practicing for days already, just getting all the apexes and not forgetting just how big those curbs are. You still need to clip them a little bit to get the fastest line. So yes, this has absolutely played into Timmy's hands after such a good Q1.
Well, Timmy Hansen, we think won Q1. Of course, we didn't see the results for Q1 because they were under investigation at that time. Up and over the crest, Hansen leading by 3.6 seconds, and we think it's 2.3 for a joker. So at the minute, he has easily got enough time. Birmingham and Martin Enland having a decent fight here, just a second between them. Those guys both jokering on lap 1 together. We have actually seen a race in Norway where everybody has jokered on lap 1. So because it's such a last-minute decision, Neil, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, and sometimes it's way too late to make the decision, or the decision's made for you by someone on your inside. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Timmy Hansen wailing the Peugeot. You could hear him right up in the revs there, and that is an absolutely brilliant joker. Bang on the money on the exit. Not actually as far in front of the other guys as I thought he might be. Kevin, you can see sitting behind him, helping his brother out. I think it's fair to say Kevin helped Timmy out a little bit last year, although Kevin was right in the hunt for the World Rallycross Championship last year himself. Brilliant performance by Kevin. In the same car as Timmy as well, and right in the hunt until we got to South Africa. In the end, it was his brother who took the title. Timmy Hansen takes this one. I think it's going to be a similar time to last time, a 2:22.759. Last time, Timmy Hansen did a 2:22.777. That is incredible. 0.02 of a second, pretty much, in between Timmy Hansen's time from Q1 and Q2. So I'm going to make a little note of that. And I think that's enough to win the session. I don't remember what Kevin Hansen did, Neil. Did you happen to make a note of it?
Kevin's time.
Kevin Hansen, yeah, the last
2:23.577.
So unless the stewards step in with Timmy, and we see no reason for that from that last run, basically Timmy Hansen has won Q1 and Q2. So the World Rallycross champion doing a brilliant job. Shane van Gisbergen, race control, just telling me 5-second penalty for Shane van Gisbergen. And Neil, that will be for the contact with Bachuska. Again, for me, less malice maybe than we've seen in some other ones. I just think he was expecting Bachuska to have gone, and therefore he kept it pinned. And Bachuska maybe on the handbrake and maybe not carrying the rotation through in the same way Van Gisbergen was expecting. And that's the thing. If somebody doesn't drive like you, you're kind of expecting them to do what you do, and he hasn't, and he nailed him.
It was a pretty hefty punt, though, wasn't it? It was it wasn't a gentle tap. I mean, it was quite hard. It was like, oh, well, you're not going that way. Never mind.
Yeah, if it was in real life, we'd definitely say driven through him. But yeah, there we go. Shane van Gisbergen, I say really grateful to have him along. Absolute legend of Aussie V8, the New Zealander, and he's been doing some brilliant things in esports. Like he's been flying in the Aussie V8 Esports Series. And we keep basically we're just going to harass Kenneth Hansen to get him in a Peugeot supercar at some point. So what are we doing? Are we looking at replays or are we going straight to Q3? How are we doing for time?
Let's have a look at the standing.
We're going to look at standings. Here we go. Have a look at the standings after Q2. Any minute now. Hang on.
So while we wait for that,
there's my version.
There's mine. Bingo.
This is what it's like in real life. Yeah, exactly.
Take a screenshot as soon as it comes up on the screen. We'll be taking a picture of it. What we need is a spotter for us to tell us what's happening.
Yeah, tell us what's going on. Neil, you changed your artwork in the background. There's less rallycross, just a couple of stormtroopers this week. I do like it.
Well, I like to mix things up a bit. I like to change between heats if I could, but I can't. Like tomorrow.
Right, let's take a look at those standings after Q2. Here we go. What we got? So it is Timmy Hansen at the top of the table with 2 session wins. Q1 and Q2 have gone the way of the World Rallycross champion. Sivert Svardal is in second place. It was a P2 in Q2 and a P3 in Q1. Good performance. Kevin Hansen nearly there. He's in third place. Then it's Marius Bermingrud. Shane van Gisbergen down in fifth place. Not too bad considering he got a 5-second penalty in that last session. And Shane van Gisbergen's time would have been pretty decent, I think, without that. Martin Enland, Scott Pye. So both the V8 guys are in there at the minute. Matt Vey Farashkin is in 8th place. Remember, the top 10 only go through in esports because we've got 5 spaces on the grid for the semi-final. So at the minute, Alex Day and Henrik Krogstad are going to make the cut. But look at the points down the right-hand side. So 68 points, then 66 and 66 for Blomqvist and Avjolu. So those guys are literally a couple of points off the back. I think Bachuska could stand a chance as well. 2 sessions left. To be honest, anything can happen. So I think anyone within that top 16 is in with a chance. We're going to head straight to Q3 and get things underway. Here we go. Okay, so Scott Pye on the pole, Tamara Molinaro next to him, then Rokas Bachuska, Kevin Hansen and Hayden Padden. Padden will be hoping for a better run than he had last time out. Came in with a fair bit of panel damage, it's I think, fair to say. Luckily, it doesn't take very long to repair. Well, actually in the game, so if you have too much damage in the game, there's a time limit, a number of minutes on which you can spend in the service area. And if you don't have enough time to repair the various bits on the car, then you have to enter the next race with it in a damaged state. Certainly on rallying, I've run out of time a lot. Oh, and it's raining in hell. See, it's not just hot in hell. And me and Neil can confirm, certainly last year, we saw the most torrential rain I think I've ever seen. I hid under a lorry. It rained that hard. That's a truck for people who are not from the UK, a lorry. And I hid under this truck and it was hammering down. The standing water running across the road in turn 1. So this is going to change the line that they take. It's going to change the amount of grip they've got. If there's any contact, people are going to be off much more quickly. Bachuska putting the squeeze immediately towards the inside. Got to watch out. He doesn't get tagged. It's a brave entry up towards turn 1. Kevin Hansen, though, on the handbrake and up the inside, but also running down the wall. So Kevin Hansen just about holding on. Bachuska gives him a little push on the run into the hairpin in turn 2. Kevin, though, still managing somehow to find enough grip to get the car turned in. Bachuska's up the inside again. But Kevin Hansen looking sideways and straight on the exit and will be hoping just to get away. So Kevin Hansen, look, Neil, chasing down Molinaro and Pye already. Look, he's on the back of the front too. Haven't even joking. Kevin going to look for a way past. Now to where Tamara? Tamara's dropped back. So Tamara's dropped back with 30 seconds, it said on the clock. So maybe Tamara's been given a penalty. Scott Pye, Kevin Hansen. Where's Scott gone? Has Scott gone joker? No, he hasn't. So Scott Pye, Neil, leading from Kevin Hansen, and Kevin in the box seat to take the win on this one already.
Yeah, look, he's already on the back of Scott. Probably going to take him on this corner. Yeah, it's too wide in the wet there. Scott Pye.
Bachuska, though, looking to the door of Kevin. And Scott now trying to get past Rokas. So Rokas sideways on the brake. Scott just misses him, turning in across the nose. Kevin Hansen and Scott Pye pretty lucky to get away with various bits of contact here in the wet. They've just about held on. Bachuska doing a good job. He's now going to get a little bit held up potentially by Scott if Scott doesn't go joker. Oh, Baciuszka nudges into the back of him. Neil, what do you think on that?
Well, I used to call him, when he had an amazing rookie season last year, I called him the Rocket Baciuszka, but I think today he's bringing the ruckus, so I might call him Ruckus Baciuszka, because he's definitely making a lot of contact today, and that I don't think was necessary.
That one was slightly borderline in the wet. I think just it's harder to avoid the contact in the wet. That doesn't mean the stewards won't tell you off for it, of course, but it is, Neil, we see more mistakes in the wet, don't we, in real life? Kevin Hansen coming on to his last lap, so it's kind of inevitable there will be maybe not more contact, Neil, but you just don't get away with it as much, do you, in the wet?
Yeah, there is a bit of leniency because some of these drivers might not have a wet setup pre-programmed for their car. So, if you load that in, if you've got time to load that in while you're in the lobby, then fair play. But if not, then you're driving on a setup that's completely wrong for these conditions, and that's forgivable. But, you've also got to be a little bit more careful.
Kevin Hansen using about 180 degrees. Yeah, you can see there, pulls a gear, little tap on the shoulder from Timmy. Kevin's taken it. That should be our pretty decent. Well, it's certainly going to be our benchmark time, isn't it, for the wet? So you're looking at Scott Pye coming up over the finish. There we go. So Kevin Hansen. So that's our first indicator of the times in the wet. It's a 2:29.266. So 2:29.266. Hayden Padden in P2. About 3.5 seconds. No, yeah, nearly 4 seconds. Just over 4 seconds, in fact, down the road. Baciuszka got a 5-second penalty. So Baciuszka's been given that. I don't know if he was given that in the game or if that was, that looks like a track limits penalty. Alex Day, Kelvin van der Linde, Matvey Farashkin, Sivert Svardal, and Marius Bermingrud are on the grid for this. Just had a message through Shane van Gisbergen saying a fair go. So Shane, this was in the Discord, which is the group. Shane van Gisbergen apologised to Rockas straight away. He said, I'm sorry. He said that I had a lag in the game when you half spun. I couldn't avoid you. And Rockas sent him back a message saying no problem, which is cool. So you see these drivers are messaging each other in between the races in the background. So that's good to see. Good to see.
Very good.
What else we've had? Neil Hudson's let us know. Actually, Nestor Girolami is apparently in Barcelona at the moment. So he's got connection problems there instead of Argentina. So
fair enough.
Same. Different place, same problem, apparently. Okay, looking through some of our other messages about stewarding and so on. Okay, so Sabo was an interloper. Sabo wasn't Max Coates.
It was AI.
Yes, it was. So Neil's on the same WhatsApp group that I'm on from Race Control. We're trying to figure it out. Farashkin dropping back. Go Joker, Matvey. Right there, you can see, Neil, some of the issues you get if the game is glitching a little, where the cars are not visible to each other in the right way. Fail race. Alex Day leading. Bermingrud had a look up the inside. There's Farashkin making a pass on Svardal. Svardal dropping back a little bit. Into the wall for Alex Day. Look how much track they use on the exit there. It literally is every single tiny bit, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit too much if you're bouncing off the Armco, but again, you're just finding the levels of grip because it's hard to choose, to actively choose to practice in the wet if you don't feel like it. So this might be the first few 100 meters that they've actually put in on the wet for a while.
I'm not bad around this track, Neil. I quite like playing this one. I think because you can get away with a little bit with the curbs and stuff. There are a few tracks which I find hard, but I enjoy Norway, and I think the drivers enjoy Norway in real life. It's got a real flow to it, hasn't it? And the elevation change, again, it's one of those things where unless you go there, you just can't tell how steep it is. It is incredibly steep, every one of the hills, including this one into the last corner.
It's a proper roller coaster when you're there. I've never driven around it. I've ridden around it on a BMX in real life. Oh, look at that.
Oh, sideways. Fail race runs deep.
Joker.
Bermingrud, he's got him. Yeah, Marius Bermingrud's managed to get past Fail race, but Svardal's got them both. Fail race in P4 now, so close between these guys. Kelvin van der Linde is in Timmy Hansen's Peugeot colours this time. Oh, Alex Day up the inside. So Alex Day passes Bermingrud. Yeah, really nice. But Sivert Svardal out front, the ex-European champion. Well, almost European champion who we're looking forward to seeing in a supercar. Oh, Alex Day, absolutely 90 degrees with Bermingrud alongside him. Who's going to get it? Alex Day gets it. So Bermingrud was completely completely in his door as they came across the line on lap 3. Yes, they've got another lap to go, so this battle's going to continue. Great fight between these two.
Very entertaining streams on Twitch and YouTube from Alex Fail Race, and I've been catching up with what he's been posting both since the last round and in practice for this one, and he really does put in the hours. It's very, very interesting. I've actually learned a few tweaks in my lap times from watching him.
We still need to have that little practice together, Neil. We never seem to quite get round to it, do we, mate? We've been threatening for ages. Svardal takes it. Matvey Verashkin is a little way back. We're not quite sure what happened to Matvey. There was definitely a little bit of glitching going on for him at one point. Oh, he's got a puncture. So there we go. Verashkin's got a puncture, which is why he's dropped back. And you can see there where he's desperately trying to find the traction. The rear left has gone down, and he can't get the traction up the hill. So Verashkin does manage to get in within the time limit, but Sivert Svardal with a 2:29.124 has gone fastest so far. So Svardal goes just 1/10 of a second faster than Kevin Hansen went in the first race of this session. So Sivert Svardal currently the leader of Q3.
He's clearly keen for a home win, isn't he?
Yeah, very much. Niklas Aneklev on the inside, Martin Enland, Henrik Krogstad, Timmy Hansen and Orhan Avcolu. Timmy Hansen, the winner of both sessions so far. So I guess he's looking to get the first esports clean sweep. We nearly had Van Gisbergen do it last time. Can Timmy Hansen do it here in Norway? Norway's where it's been done, of course, in real life as well, Neil. Both Johan and Andreas, I think.
Yeah, for some reason, it just seems to have that magic touch, doesn't it? That if you get it nailed and if you have clean heats, then it is really possible to do the clean sweep.
Yeah, I tell you what, it does take some doing. It really does. Even to have a clean weekend. If you come to a rallycross event, and you must come to when we can, obviously, but you must come to a rallycross event, and you start to understand the pressure they're under, the amount of times they have to go out, and that they have to get it right in every session. You know, you don't have long to get your setup right. You can't get it wrong in each of the qualifying sessions. You're making decisions at the start in turn one. You're making decisions about your joke lap and your spotter is. You've got to string all that together just to have a good weekend, just to make the semis. If you string it all together in the ultimate perfect fashion, maybe you'll get that clean sweep. But I mean, you know, it's incredibly rare. Timmy Hansen in slot number 4 on the grid to your left. We're behind Henrik Krogstad in the centre of the grid, waiting for a green. On board now with Krogstad, but a better start by Timmy Hansen on the outside. Got to get clean down towards turn 1. Timmy Hansen going to go Joker. Goes straight on, definitely. No lifting there. Hansen's gone Joker. Sideways up towards the apex. Right in behind him is Orhan Avcolu. Henrik Krogstad with a bit of understeer on the run out of turn 2. Pushes the car wide. Same there in the background for Avcolu. And that means that Timmy Hansen, look, is already closing the gap down on Niklas Aneklev in front of him. Just 1.2 seconds between Timmy Hansen and Neil. The 3 cars that took the standard lap there held themselves up more than the 2 that went to the Joker. And Timmy Hansen was decisive about where he was going, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's textbook first corner Joker, that is. The outside 2 go straight, so they have a real chance to stretch their legs. The front 3 get themselves a little bit tangled up and slow themselves down. Plays into the hands of Timmy and Avcolu as they fight their way back up. Timmy's already got it.
Yeah, Timmy Hansen, just Henrik Krogstad in front of him now. So Krogstad leading by 1.7. Oh, contact there. We're on board with Aneklev, who was on the gravel track on the inside, now runs deep and across the track over track limits. These guys are into each other. Enland and Aneklev are doing an Andrew Coley and a Neil Cole on the last lap there. They're just having it, smashing into each other completely. And the stewards at this point, Neil, might just go, do you know what, you've damaged your own race enough, we don't need to give you a penalty. Timmy Hansen, meanwhile, is still chasing down Krogstad, and say 2.3 was the gap in the dry, Neil. To me, Timmy Hansen's Joker looked good on lap 1. I think Krogstad's going to struggle to get out in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Timmy's definitely got this. I reckon it's just over 2.5, because it's an uphill Joker, all gravel, so it's not like there's tarmac in it, which would affect your grip levels in the wet. So it's probably still about 2.5 seconds. So Timmy's got this. It's just where Henrik will slot in behind Timmy.
So Timmy Hansen into turn 1. Henrik Krogstad will have gone Joker. The gap was down to 1.0, so he took another 0.2 off him. Look at Hansen flicking the car. Lovely transition there from the right-hander to the left. In the background there, Orhan Avcolu, who was so close to Timmy on lap 1 with a couple of little mistakes. Actually, Avcolu look up the inside of Krogstad, but is that a bit much contact? Again, stewards could get involved on that. That was a dive from a long way back, but no such problems. Timmy Hansen aiming for fastest time. It's a 2:29.1 at the minute. He's going to absolutely destroy it. Hansen with a 2:26, I reckon. Side by side for Avcolu and Krogstad, who had their own bit of contact, and then Enlund and Aneklev, who basically had a banger race for the whole of the first 2 laps. And it's Aneklev that came off the worst in the end. But Timmy Hansen, what's the time? 2:27.0. He goes 2.1 seconds faster than Sivert Svartdal, who was leading this session. And in fact, he's gone 2.2 seconds quicker than his own brother, Kevin Hansen. That is a brilliant time by Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that when your grid position means you can take the Joker straight away, then it really does help. But you have to know, you've got to have the rallycross chops to know to do that, and then to bang in your laps and catch the cars in front. So fair play. Chapeau to Timmy Hansen.
We've only got 2 drivers in this one, and it's going to be Tom Blomqvist and Shane van Gisbergen, who are going to make the grid for the last race of Q3.
Well, I quite liked it when we had a couple of robots standing in for Max Coates last time. But it's much fairer if we don't have AI getting in the mix here. So 2-car race. Are we going to see one sensibly go to the Joker? I would expect so.
Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? And obviously, now so Shane van Gisbergen, if he's clever here, take Tom Blomqvist with you. So basically, Blomqvist is likely to go Joker, and Shane can force him to be behind him by going Joker as well. So if I was Van Gisbergen here, I'd try and push Blomqvist into the Joker on lap 1 anyway. Then you don't give Blomqvist the chance to play tactics. What's Van Gisbergen going to do? He goes standard lap. Interesting. So Blomqvist did what we thought, Neil. From there, he was always going to go that way, and we know Blomqvist is quick. So now Van Gisbergen's got a choice, Neil. Does he go straight away and not give Blomqvist the laps to close the gap, or is he confident enough that he's got the pace? What do you reckon?
If I was the Gears, I'd go lap 2, Joker, come out in front of Tom, and then they can both just bang in 2 more clean laps to the finish, try and match Timmy Hansen's time.
Yeah, agreed. I wonder if Van Gisbergen will be worried about whether or not Blomqvist is going to have the same pace. We did see him, or I say Blomqvist was the only man who beat Van Gisbergen last time at Abu Dhabi, but it's clear to me here that Van Gisbergen doesn't have the same advantage that he had in Abu Dhabi. But he has stayed out. So Van Gisbergen stayed out. We need to watch the gap between him and Blomqvist. That'll give us an idea. Plus 3.8. Yeah, so he's gapping him nearly. He's taken 8/10 off him. So Van Gisbergen's going to stay out, isn't he? And I think I would have done what you said, which is go Joker on lap 2. But then I suppose you're under pressure then, aren't you, for the whole race from a pass?
Yeah, and it all depends on just, how many times, what the ratio in practice Shane has done sort of standard lap to Joker lap, because you tend to do like a 9-to-1 ratio of standard lap to Joker. So if he's comfortable with a really good fast Joker, then yes, leave it till the last lap and cross the line and take your time.
So Van Gisbergen is gapping Tom Blomqvist. We're hearing that Orhan Avcolu has been given a 5-second penalty from that last race. I'm assuming that was the different postcode dart up the inside, down into the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. It was ambitious, is what you call it politely. But great that he's trying. If he was doing it in real life, people would be a bit cross, but he's not. Here we go, Van Gisbergen into the Joker lap. It's tidy. Was it as quick as Timmy Hansen? He's had clean laps here, out all on his own. Shane van Gisbergen looking to try and take the session. He's the only man now who can deny Timmy Hansen the clean sweep. Timmy Hansen's time is 2:27.0. Van Gisbergen, in the middle of the corner there. Sorry, looking at Blomqvist. Where's Van Gisbergen? Here he is heading up towards the flag now. Blomqvist is 2.4 back. So Shane van Gisbergen, I think he's going to be pretty close to Hansen's time. So what's Van Gisbergen done? I think he might have done it, 2:25.8 he has. Wow. So Shane van Gisbergen, just looking at the clock, even though he wasn't in our picture, I could see him in the back of the image. 2:25.8. He's gone 1.2 seconds faster, and that is the Shane van Gisbergen that we saw last time at Abu Dhabi. The New Zealand V8 star has taken Q3, and he denies Timmy Hansen the opportunity for a clean sweep.
And
great drive there by Van Gisbergen. Yeah, absolutely epic, Neil. That was tidy.
Given a clean track, Obviously, he's put in some practice on the wet as well. And the fact that he's got the sort of V8 circuit asphalt skills, that he doesn't use the handbrake, he's not hugely sideways, means that if he's got the wet skills and he's got a clean track and he's not door to door with anyone because they split strategies with Tom, then suddenly it's a chance to show how quick he is. And that is extraordinary compared to Timmy Hansen's time.
Okay, we've got the standings ready after Q3. Let's have a look and see where we are following that session. Timmy Hansen still in the TQ spot. That stands for top qualifier. If you're new to Rallycross, Sivert Svardal is in P2. Shane van Gisbergen, though, look, moves up with the win in Q3. Those extra points that you get, you can see where Timmy was second, 5 points less in terms of qualifying. They're not championship points. It's just to put everybody together into the semi-finals and to decide the order, basically, in qualifying. Kevin Hansen is there in fourth, and it's Birmingham, Blomqvist, Enland, and Fail Race. Let's have a look and see who the final two that are going to be going through are at the moment. At the moment, it's Henrik Krogstad and Scott Pye. Just below them, I think you can see that Matvey Farashkin and Orhan Avjolu are near enough. I think maybe Kelvin van der Linde, but certainly the guys in P11 and P12 are a threat to Scott Pye and Henrik Krogstad. So Scott Pye and Henrik Krogstad need a good run in this next session to hold on to that position in the semi-finals. Top 10 go through. Let's have a look back at the replays from Q3, Neil, and we can pick apart some of the wet weather action. So this was up at turn one. Bachuska running up into the first corner joker, but Kevin Hansen managing just to get underneath them. Nicely done. It's a bun fight in there, Neil, and I said, you know, this is one of those circuits where as the driver, you have to think on your feet. You can't just rely on your spotter for a lap one joker. It's got to be an instinct decision.
Yeah, you're making sort of millisecond judgments as to whether the car that's slightly to the left or slightly behind you is going to take the corner that you're going for as well. You know, it's very, very difficult and very dynamic and dramatic. This is one of the most exciting places to watch Rallycross, and I'm sure to compete on, virtually or for real.
That was Fail Race getting some in-the-door action from Marius Birmingham. He literally was pushed down the road sideways. And then this, the most decisive turn one action for me, from Timmy Hansen just going in there, shutting the door to the apex side, straight line in the braking zone, and managing to get himself up into there. Now, I was pretty sure it was going to be enough to give him the third qualifying session win, to be honest. I thought Timmy had done enough here because it was such a clean run. Say, Annette and Enland, I think, got into each other a little bit too much in the background. But Timmy Hansen, not quite quick enough come the end of the session, because Shane van Gisbergen in that last race was just unbelievable. I'm not sure if we're going to see Shane's run. We'll have a look in a second.
And that's what Avjolu was penalised for as well. We just saw the last shot there was what he got penalised for, the Turkish rally driver. And there's lots of interesting driving standards today, which we will unpick as the show goes on. But I love it. It's kind of spectacular, if nothing else.
It's been exciting so far. Q4, the last qualifying session, coming up next. One session then to go here in Norway to decide who gets the TQ spot. Shane van Gisbergen will be looking to deny Timmy Hansen. So he's going to have a great run here, and he's got a tough lineup. Scott Pye, of course, his fellow V8 racer alongside him in the middle of the grid. Hayden Padden towards the outside. Kevin Hansen right on the outside. I think we'll see Kevin go joker on lap one. Kelvin van der Linde is on the pole on the inside. So this is going to be interesting. I'm expecting brave tactics from van Gisbergen here. Something decisive off the start. Is he going to go joker, and could he meet Kevin Hansen coming from the outside of the grid here?
It's tricky as well because a couple
Peugeots.
of these drivers are on the bubble, not to make it through into the final 10, which will make the two semi-finals of 5 each. So do they go for it, or do they, not try and play it safe?
You're behind Scott Pye, who is one of those drivers, so Scott Pye's got to go for it too. So I think a lot of people here with quite a lot on the line, as it were. Shane van Gisbergen is to your right. Kevin Hansen is to your left of the two yellow Peugeots. It's a great start on the inside for Kelvin van der Linde. Not sure now what Shane van Gisbergen can do from there. He's going to go joker. Shane van Gisbergen late on the brakes, up to the joker. Absolutely perfect. And Kevin Hansen, though, has taken advantage of those three cars going up there, all sideways, up on two wheels, almost over Hayden Padden. Just holds on Scott Pye in behind him. But brilliant start by Shane van Gisbergen. Again, decisive like Timmy Hansen was. And he's now going to be chasing Kevin Hansen down. Look, 2.1 seconds up the road. Kevin Hansen round the outside of Kelvin van der Linde. Lovely move. Kelvin going to try and make the move back in the black Audi. Can't quite get it done. So Kevin Hansen out front now. Shane van Gisbergen chasing him down. Is Kelvin van der Linde going to get in the way of Shane? Oh, Shane punts Kevin Hansen off. That's a penalty, 100%. Kevin knows it. So Kevin Hansen's been nerfed off. He goes up to the Joker. In fact, coming back in from the access road that we saw, I think it was Liam Doran, wasn't it, end up going up when he was in the Mini. And Liam then had that big shunt up. We saw an RX2 go up there as well last year. But Kevin Hansen down in 5th, Neil. Well, pick that apart for me. Go on.
Well, it just looked like a mess, to be honest. I was still thinking about the sort of Tony Hawk grind move coming out of the Joker on lap 1, and then that unfolds. It was a very hefty push, not particularly fair, and that's really hampered. Luckily, Kevin Hansen's well in to the semis already, but that has really damaged his time, if nothing else.
Yeah, Kevin Hansen dropping way off the back. I was looking forward to seeing a fight between him and Shane van Gisbergen. What about that start, Neil, by Shane van Gisbergen as well? Say, just for me, exactly the same as you saw from Timmy Hansen. He made a plan, he stuck to it, and he executed it, most importantly.
Yeah, exactly. And, side by side, the two Red Bull liveried Peugeots, making it initially very easy for us to see the two different groups, Joker and non-Joker, but then that got mixed up quite quickly.
With a bit of contact in turn 1, as we've seen. So again, I think the turn 1 contact is a bit different from elsewhere. You're not looking to make a pass with it. You're looking to carry as much speed as possible into that Joker lap and to brake as late as possible. But unfortunately, it's caught a couple of people out. So Shane van Gisbergen said it was a game glitch for him, and he couldn't avoid Batuska, and we'll have to find out what's in the book of excuses for the contact this time. But not for van Gisbergen. Absolutely perfect run. Van Gisbergen in wet conditions. He did a 2:25.8 last time, and this time he's done a 2:26.1. So he's only 0.3 of a second, 2:26.106. Look, that's 0.2 of a second slower, 0.3 of a second slower than he went when he won Q3 in the wet. So that is the time which everybody else has got to beat. Scott Pye's not done too badly there with a 3rd place. Look, and you can see. Depends how much contact there was in the background, I suppose. But so
there was
Martin
a penalty
Enland
for
on
Kevin
the pole.
Hansen as well.
Sorry, Neil, go on.
10-second penalty for Kevin Hansen in there, which must be track limits. Whether it was because obviously he got forced out, so I presume that's a sort of an error in terms of he could not help it, but he was forced to contravene track limits.
Yeah, so automatic track limits for being pushed off. That's a bit of a shame. The stewards may be able to remove that if he was pushed off and was given the penalty for track limits because of being pushed off, but I'm not quite sure how that works. So we'll leave them to figure that out for us and let us know. Martin Enland on the pole, Henrik Krogstad, Alex Day, Tom Blomqvist, and Timmy Hansen. So Timmy Hansen currently your top qualifier, but he's got to come from slot number 5 across the entire field if he wants to go Joker. Or does he check up on the brakes early, nick it up the inside and take it to the standard lap? I'm going to guess, Neil, that that's what Timmy's going to do. I'm going to guess for brakes and standard lap. Here we go. We're going to head down to the grid now. And we'll be able to see. It's not necessarily, it's still an aggressive tactic. The thing is, if he was to go from the outside, all the way outside, all the way to the inside, that's quite risky. So Timmy Hansen here, will he play it safe, jump on the brakes and slot up the inside? Bearing in mind he's already on the top qualifier spot. What he doesn't want to do is end up in the wall in the Joker with someone firing into the side. Ready to race light coming on. This will decide the TQ because of Timmy Hansen being in this race. Of course, the minor places in qualifying still to be decided. Very even start across the whole grid. Timmy Hansen certainly doesn't have enough to be able to shut the door on everyone. Is he going to go on the brakes and go on the inside? He does. So Timmy Hansen does exactly what we thought he would. He's in behind Martin Enland, who you're looking at, and he gets past Martin Enland. So Martin Enland runs wide. Timmy Hansen now chasing down Henrik Krogstad. So Krogstad has taken his livery instead of Kevin's livery this time round. So you've got 2 Timmy Hansens at the front of the field, but it's Henrik Krogstad in front of Timmy Hansen. There we are. That's just in terms of liveries. Alex Day, Fail Race, and Tom Blomqvist have taken the Joker on lap 1.
Well, he is yellow squad. It's like, trying to please the boss.
Yeah. He'll have to let him pass, Neil, if he wants to please him that much.
I can't see that happening.
There's Alex Day showing us third now. That's interesting. So why is Enland... Oh, Enland's gone Joker. Sorry, he's in the background just off to the side of the shot. So Martin Enland goes Joker on lap 2. Henrik Krogstad now has Timmy Hansen just 0.6 of a second back. So Timmy Hansen is piling the pressure on. Watch his steering inputs. Look, it's smooth in to the right and then the left. Kevin Hansen was using more around 180 degrees of steering in these two corners when we saw his picture earlier on. Timmy Hansen only using 90 degrees of steering angle. So what's Timmy going to do this time? So he's chosen to follow him. So Timmy then is basically saying, you know, he's not going to try and out-strategize him. Alex Day's not far back either, Neil.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is it should have been a no-brainer for Timmy to Joker there, but he's probably worried that he might come out in the danger zone with Alex fail race on the merge. So for safety, I reckon he's gone for eating a lot of wet gravel behind Henrik Krogstad for another lap.
I was going to sing the Danger Zone song there from Top Gun, but thankfully for the viewers, I decided against it. Timmy Hansen just 0.4 of a second back, trying to make a pass in the Joker. Timmy Hansen had a better line in the Joker. Where is he? We're not going to know which is which. It is Krogstad in front, and Alex Day up the inside of Timmy Hansen. Can't quite make it work. Timmy just holds on. He's only 0.4 of a second behind Henrik Krogstad. Day again looks inside. This time he does make it work. Timmy Hansen loses a position. Tom Blomqvist is there now trying to take a place off him as well. So Timmy's in third. Blomqvist might make a little pounce at this last hairpin. Krogstad to the inside. Timmy Hansen, lovely move, straight up the inside of Alex Day. Takes the position back. What a pass by the world champion. Super smooth butter that was in the wet conditions. Timmy Hansen taking P2 back off Alex Day in the second to last corner. It's Krogstad with a 2:28 who has taken the win in this one. That's not faster than Van Gisbergen. So at the minute, Van Gisbergen leads this session. But that will see Krogstad and Hansen P2 and P3 in Q4 with 2 races to go. So Max Coates on the inside with Nesta Girolami. Not sure we're going to see them. They both had their technical issues today, which is a real shame. Then we've got Niklas Aneklev, Marius Bermingrud, and Rokas Bachuska. So I think it's going to be a 3-car race, and that will mean Aneklev will move across to the pole. Let's have a look when we get down to the grid. Sorry not to have Max with us. Max is actually, well, he was a staffer. So you might know him if you're from the UK. Yeah, I think he was runner-up last year in the Renault Clio Cup. He's going to be racing BMW Minis this year as a support category to British touring cars. And he worked for one of our onboard camera companies, basically as a freelancer. And he used to mount onboard cameras, and then we'd come back in looking upset that they'd fallen off and been run over, which is pretty standard when you put out cameras on the outside. Was it Ion camera? I think it was, Neil, wasn't it?
Yes, it was exactly that.
It was, yeah, Ion cameras. So that we used to put cameras all over the cars on the outside. And we got some brilliant footage, but I say, unfortunately, some cameras did die. You know, that's the sacrifice that the cameras make. So yeah, Max was with us and the TV team, and he's a good lad, and I'm really pleased to see that his racing career has gone so well. It's a shame he's not with us today for a bit of esports World RX Series action. Bachuska, you're behind to his right, Bermingrud and Aneklev. Aneklev is on the pole. Good start by Bachuska. You're looking at Bermingrud in the green Peugeot. Bermingrud's gone Joker with Bachuska. Bachuska running the car up the bank. He's going to find reasonable traction on the exit there. Whereabouts is Bachuska now? More importantly, whereabouts is Aneklev? Yeah, so Aneklev didn't go Joker and has disappeared, Neil, and dropped to third. So Aneklev obviously had his own problems in turn 1.
Yeah, he must have made a mistake, completely, you know, an unforced error, because we didn't see it. But while these two went into the Joker, and again, Rokas Bachuska, I think he's clipped the bank on the Joker pretty much every time. He seems to take a line that's a little bit too wide up that Joker. But yes, must have been a mistake for Niklas Aneklev.
Bermingrud and Bachuska. Oh, Aneklev with a bigger mistake in the background, Neil. That was even wider than Bachuska when all 4 wheels up the bank in the background. Bermingrud leading Bachuska.
I wonder if Aneklev's got an issue.
Go on.
I wonder if Aneklev's got a lag issue or something, because this is uncharacteristic from him. He does a lot of time on the sim. Meanwhile, don't forget that on track, it was the GCK Renault that won here last year. So we know this car is good. Bachuska's driving.
Birmingham is still leading. So I thought just a second there. See, I went into real life mode and I thought we were seeing smoke from the rear of the car, but it's just spray coming off of Neklev's car. Looks okay, doesn't it, Neil? In terms of physicality, but as you say, maybe he had a glitch and just lost the connection for a second. Showing us 7.5 seconds. Definitely got. Look at that. The car's awful in the hairpin there, isn't it?
Yeah. Something's happened. I think in the first, the first lap that we didn't see.
Birmingham on to his last lap. Birmingham is Norwegian and was the only person to win a Super 1600 event last year who wasn't in an Audi. Of course, the Audis were the dominant force in the Super 1600 class last year. Oh, a tiny little rub there. Baciuska coming in hot, but not close enough to Birmingham to take him off or to take the place indeed.
Baciuska continues to bring the ruckus.
Yeah, pushing hard today. Birmingham going to take this one. What's the time? It is a 2:29, I reckon. Certainly not going to be enough to take Van Gisbergen's fastest time, according to my quick eyes. Looking at the clock as they cross the line, we'll see it now. 2:28.9. It's not bad at all. Krogstad was a 2:28, so he might have beaten Hansen with that time. Timmy Hansen, that is. Marius Birmingham with a 2:28. See where that leaves him.
I wonder what happened to Niklas.
No penalties. Yeah, don't know. Okay, last race of qualifying Q for race 4. Tamara Molinaro on the inside, Matvey Farashkin, Tessa Wittek. We've got Avjolu and we've got Sivert Svardal. So Svardal's been quite quick. I had a message about Svardal a few moments ago. Svardal is the Norwegian Association's Athlete of the Year. So basically they have a year, a driver which each year they announce as being their Athlete of the Year. And Svardal is that for the Norwegian Association. Good to know. We've got such a depth in talent we really have in terms of young drivers in rallycross coming up through the various categories. You really do need to be across Super 1600 and RX2 if you want to know where they're going to come from. The beauty of it is they sort of come up different ways. Suddenly they're in a supercar and you're like, okay, wow, this guy really is fast. So we're looking forward to that. Let's hope we can get real racing again soon. In the meantime, rounding out qualifying here from the Longkebanen in Norway. Hell, contact on the inside. But Avjolu going up to the Joker and unlucky there, just a little bit too deep, loses out to Sivert Svardal. So Svardal got the better of Avjolu in the Joker and he's just in front. Look how close it is between these two. Avjolu, wheels on the paint, just lost the rear of the car when he jumped on the brakes. So the weight transferred and he just locked one of the rear wheels. Car got two sideways. At the minute it's Matvey Farashkin leading from Tamara Molinaro. And so Avjolu goes grass cutting in the last corner. Molinaro runs wide. Svardal makes the pass and Molinaro drops a place back. All sideways. Huge tank slapper for Molinaro. She was out of control there. And unfortunately she's taken Svardal with her. And I think contact as well with Orhan. So that's definitely not intentional, Neil. You can see that was a huge moment for Tamara from a long way back.
Yeah, it was a mistake. She lost control, and it's interesting now because she's side to side with someone she'll be familiar with from the stages of the European Rally Championship. Both Tamara Molinaro and Orhan Avjolu both race in the European Rally Championship, but you're not normally side by side with another supercar, so you have to get used to that.
Avjolu as well is actually, Neil, he won TOSFED, the Turkish Association's esports event, so good job by him. So he's not, this isn't a guy who doesn't know anything about esports. So we're having 10 seconds taken off Hansen's penalty. So that's Kevin Hansen, who was pushed wide in the first race. Thank you, race control. They're removing the 10-second penalty for Kevin Hansen. And a 5-second penalty going on to Kelvin van der Linde. I don't know what that's for because I can't remember. Can you remember, Neil?
I'll have a look.
Contact. There we go. Contact with Kevin, of course. So Kevin not only got contact, but he then got a 10-second penalty for being pushed off wide. There you can see Avjolu and his spotter in the background, his real-life spotter sitting next to him at the sim rig. Down towards the bottom of the hill, Matvey Farashkin trying to find a way past Sivert Svardal. Can't though, so it's going to be Orhan Avjolu who I think is going to take this.
And that's not that much of a surprise considering that his fastest lap on the leaderboards is 33.72, which is 24th globally. He's a very talented racer on this.
Proper quick. There we go. Sivert Svardal takes it, but it is a 2:31. So a 2:31 for Sivert Svardal. And that means that it's going to be Shane van Gisbergen who wins the session. So I think, is that 2 wins for Shane van Gisbergen? It is. So if it's wet, you need to bet on the Giz. Basically, Van Gis in the wet is the man. The way he's driving that car in the wet, he's butter smooth, and he, just very, very quick indeed. Not sure it's going to be enough. No, I don't think it will be enough to take the TQ, because I think Timmy Hansen has had a worse sessions, if that makes sense. Van Gisbergen's Q1 and Q2 were quite tricky, whereas Hansen's Q3 and Q4, although he hasn't won them, he's still been right up there in the time. So I'm expecting a TQ for Timmy. We'll see the results in a minute.
But yeah, it's a relief to see that when Kevin Hansen was pushed off into the exit road, rather than carry on straight, home, back to the hotel, he was able to have his penalty rescinded because it wasn't his fault at all. So that keeps him right at the top as well. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so qualifying done and dusted. Here are the results after Q4, and it is on the TQ spot, Timmy Hansen. So Timmy Hansen with the TQ. Matvey Farashkin shown as the winner of that session. Is that right, Neil? I can't remember. I think it's Shane van Gisbergen. But that, at the minute, anyway, that won't make a difference. I think Van Gisbergen will stay in the seat. If he has another 5 points, he'd only be on 176. So yeah, Timmy Hansen definitely the top qualifier. Shane Van Gisbergen is in P2. Then it's Svardal, Birmingham, Hansen. Farashkin showing us in, but there's a question mark over that result from Q4. Then you've got Krogstad, Blomqvist. And let's see who are the final two to make it through. The final two are Alex Day, so fail race. Okay, we've just had the results corrected, look. So it's Alex Day's gone through with Martin Enland, and Farashkin has literally, as we speak, has had the results corrected and drops down from I think he was in P7, he drops down to P10, but he just makes it by 1 point, look, from Scott Pye. So correction to the results there. I'm pretty sure, as I say, that you'll find that the Q4 there went to Van Gisbergen. Great stuff. Thank you very much to those drivers who've taken part. So Scott Pye, Rokas Bachewska, Hayden Padden, Orhanov Jolu, all those guys who haven't made it through to the semi-finals for the pro drivers. Very grateful for you taking part. Now, we've got another hour of action coming up for you. Of course, we've got semi-finals for our esports competitors. We've got a couple of new names in there. And their positions in the grids are going to be decided by championship points from last time out Abu Dhabi. And then, of course, we've got semi-finals and our final for our pro drivers as well. Neil, this should be exciting. Last time, of course, Van Gisbergen was as quick as the esports pros.
Yeah, well, if you look on the leaderboards for Hell in the in Dirt Rally 2.0 in the game, he's up there in the top. He's 26th overall globally, and he's ahead of some of the people that are competing as the sim racers in the next hour. So, the level now between the pro racers and the sim racers is pretty much fully merged.
Van Gisbergen, it's going to depend a bit on the weather, isn't it? But for me, if it's wet, I think Van Gisbergen is looking very, very racy indeed. In the dry, Timmy Hansen may be a bit quicker, but did Van Gisbergen have worse qualifying races?
First two, the Giz was caught up in a lot of trouble, and then second two in the wet, he kind of stretched his legs a little bit. So it all depends on the conditions, and now sort of driving standards. It's 5 against 5 in the semis. Maybe they'll be a little bit more respectful through some of those corners. Maybe.
Well, stay with us because we've got semi-finals and finals coming up for both our esports pros and our real life drivers. Going to be great. Hang around. We are approaching the final stages in round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. We've had qualifying online. If you're just joining us on television around the world, then get ready for some brilliant finals. It's been super close between our real-world drivers. We've got Shane Van Gisbergen from Australian V8s right up there with Timmy Hansen, the real-life World Rallycross Champion, playing on Dirt Rally 2.0. Been fantastic so far. We raced last time out in Abu Dhabi. This time it's Hell in Norway. We've got Sweden and then Cape Town round to round out the championship before we hopefully get back to real life racing. My name's Andrew Coley. I normally commentate the real life version of the FA World Rallycross Championship. I'm joined by Neil Cole, who of course is our intrepid pit reporter in real life, joining me for commentary here on the esports version. Neil, some brilliant action, super close at the top of the timesheets.
Really, really close, and also close timing-wise and physically. Like, this is I think the most physical. Last time out in the Yas Marina, we saw cars rolling over those big orange curbs, some big rolls and some contact. But this is the sort of roller coaster, narrow mountainside track in Hell in Norway, and a lot of physical contact between these drivers. So the stewards are busy looking at whether it was fair or not. But of course, it's a contact sport. You're allowed to trade paint. You're allowed to race door to door, and this is one of those circuits that lends itself to that kind of aggressive racing that can be rewarded or punished if you're just over the edge.
It certainly is. So if you're new to Rallycross, basically, normally we have 6 cars in each of the semi-finals. For the esports, we're having 5 cars in each semi-final. The top 2 from each of those semis go through to the final, and then the fastest loser from whichever of the semi-finals was quicker will be the driver who takes the 5th spot on the grid. Then obviously the winner comes from that final race. We've got actually 2 sets of semi-finals and finals for you. Our esports professionals, these guys are the very best esports drivers in the world. Some of them contracted, in fact, to real-life Rallycross teams now as well. So Real Motorsport, F1, Rallycross, all these different motorsport disciplines are starting to take esports really seriously. And then, as I say, we've got our real-life drivers, Timmy Hansen versus Shane van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen, last time, Neil, showed the World Rallycross champion how to do it, didn't he? And I think Timmy's going to be keen to take a little bit of revenge, maybe.
Yeah, the Kiwi is a special, talented individual. You know, he's got the skills, obviously, in real-world V8s, but when it comes to esports and sim racing, he's really kind of shown that he's world-class across different disciplines. And Rallycross is not an easy sport to master, either in real life or virtually, but he has mastered it. And I think it's been a shock. And every single other one of our regulars, our World Rallycross Championship regulars, are having to raise their game and put in a few more hours of practice every day just to be at Shane van Gisbergen's level.
Yeah, we've been saying, haven't we, for a little while, that we're keen to see Shane van Gisbergen get into a real World Rallycross car. Right now, I think we're all keen to see anybody get into a real World Rallycross car, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So stay safe, everyone, if you're staying at home, and hopefully you're going to enjoy the semi-finals and the finals that we are going to be bringing you this afternoon. What have we got coming up, first of all, Neil?
Well, we've got to watch the sim races.
Sounds good to me. So sim race semi-finals, which will be based
I don't make
on...
the rules.
No, it's fine. So they'll be based on... So their grid positions for round 1 were based randomly. Basically, we selected 10 of the very best sim racers in the world. We've got a couple of new ones have come in this week. In fact, we've got Tommy Hallman is returning because Tommy was on his national service in Finland. And in fact, the DiRT world champion as well has done his national service in Finland earlier on this year too. So a lot of these guys are very young and very good at esports. So we're going to be seeing them race for their semi-final positions and who's going to go through to the final. First, though, if you've only just joined us, we can take a look back at some of the action so far today.
I'd also like to see some of the standings again.
This was Rokas Bachuska. Rokas has been in the wars a little bit today, Neil, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've renamed him Ruckus because he's been getting in some fights, but it just goes to show he's not backing off, which is always good.
And that one wasn't his fault there. That was Shane van Gisbergen, in fact, who apologised to Rokas later on because they drove through him on the run-up towards the Joker lap. But again, if you're not familiar with Rallycross, the Joker lap is one slightly longer lap, which you have to take once. So here you can see... our 2 competitors, Birmingham and Enland, went to the Joker lap on lap 1, and that left the real-life World Rallycross champion Timmy Hansen in the clear on the standard lap. So you or your spotter picks when you take that lap, which is slightly longer, and that then is your tactical decision, basically. Here, the Joker lap is in turn 1. So because it's in turn 1, the drivers really have to make a decision on the fly. We've seen wet and dry conditions today. Bachuska, again, running just a little bit wide, losing out at the start. That was 3 cars heading into the Joker altogether. Kevin Hansen at the front of those. Kevin was later pushed off in one of his races, but they actually took the penalty away from him. He was given a track limits penalty by the game. So the game has its own track limits built in, but because Kevin was fired off through no fault of his own, that penalty was removed. So Kevin Hansen, another of our World Rallycross Championship regulars, have made it through to the semi-finals. So wet conditions for Q3 and Q4, Neil. Tricky for the drivers.
Yeah, definitely. And the beauty of this is that Rallycross, by its very name, is perfect for people who've got a mixture of rallying skills and asphalt circuit skills. And that is where this is really showing up today, is if you can evolve your style from one or the other, then you can really dominate a sport like this. The rain, though, suddenly throws in a massive spanner in the works, because you can put in thousands of hours of practice, but you're very rarely going to choose a wet track. So you've got to really, really know the physics of the game and your own driving to make sure
if you are a regular viewer of the World Rallycross Championship in real life, then you'll know that at Norway last year, Hell, the Longyearbyen, and where we're competing this weekend, this track exists in real life. I say we've got some viewers joining us, I'm sure, for the first time around the world. We're being shared on several television networks for our esports finals now. BT Sport here in the UK. Welcome along, guys. Pleasure to have you with us. And of course, they're used to seeing our real life racing. And Neil, it rained like this in real life at this circuit last year, and the finals were incredible, weren't they?
Absolutely incredible. And the way that the teams have to adapt, everyone has to adapt. I mean, the only more extreme weather I've ever seen was when we were in Montalegre and it snowed just before the semis and the final. You know, we're up a mountain in Portugal and suddenly half of me is covered in an inch of snow that's coming in sideways. So they do have to adapt very quickly, tyres wise, setup wise, and of course driving wise, and all of that is replicated in the weather of the game.
Yeah, that was when our cameraman came down from the crane in turn one looking like a Yeti. In fact, hello, Tom.
Dreadlocks.
If you're watching, he had ice. He had a long hair, Tom, and he had ice in his hair, literally in his hair and his beard. It was -2. You could see it on the timing screens. Temperatures were going up and down, absolutely incredible. So, say, if you're only just joining us, we have had one round of our championship back at Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago. That was the first round. We're in Norway this week. Next week, 1 week's time, you can join us at Hollius in Sweden, which is another classic rallycross track. And we round the season out, as we would have done this year were it not for COVID, down in Cape Town in South Africa. Let's take a look at the championship standings after round one in Abu Dhabi. And you'll see at the top of the table, Shane van Gisbergen. Now, in fact, this is updated, I think, after qualifying here. So Shane van Gisbergen was on 29 points when we left Abu Dhabi, because he was 1 point off a perfect weekend. You get 16 points for being the top qualifier, which is the stage of the competition we're at now. 6 points if you win the semi and 8 if you win the final. So Shane van Gisbergen got 29. This week, he's qualified in second place, so that's 15 points. And Timmy Hansen with 16, closing that championship lead down to just 5 points. You can see some big hitters there from the real World Rallycross Championship. And now we're moving on to our esports semi-final. So these guys are the very best esports drivers in the world, and that's confirmed by at least 3 of the guys on this grid making it through to the finals of the Dirt Rally 2.0 World Championship, which were held at the Autosport show earlier this year. Kilian Dalolmo for Set Promotion, Set Esports team, the World Rallycross champion in Dirt 2.0. John Harris alongside him. Lucas Mateja, who's featured in every one of the races he's been in, has been right at the front. Nigel Cross, 4th on the grid, and Daniel Johansson, who is new for this weekend, but was 3rd place in the World Championship earlier this year. So these guys are very good. They don't make many mistakes, so this is going to be fascinating to see. Here we go.
And what you know is these guys will have been on the Discord watching the racing we've already seen, and watching who's good, who's quick, racing lines, sort of track activity, because they spend so much of their days in lobbies, racing each other and doing practice, that they will be definitely talking amongst themselves about who's good. You know, the times that Timmy and Kevin and Shane van Gisbergen are putting out there in hell on the circuit.
Right, we're good to go. Down to the grid for our first esports semi-final. Now, interestingly, you'll note that most people have used the Peugeot, and that was what was used for the finals of the World Championship earlier this year. But we're behind Daniel Johansson, who's chosen to use the Mini. The Mini, of course, normally run by Ollie Bennett in the World Championship. Our green light, and we've had a varied start there across the grid. So I don't know if a few people got a glitch, or we've got a couple of people who've maybe jumped the start, but Kilian Dalolmo showing us the leader at the moment. Daniel Johansson up into P2. So Kilian has gone Joker with Nigel Cross. So in fact, John Harris takes the lead. So Dalolmo, Nigel Cross and Lucas Mateja have all gone Joker, and this is John Harris with Daniel Johansson right behind. Oh, Johansson is all over the back of John Harris. John Harris being harassed here up the hill. And they're going to have to make some headway here, Neil, because Kilian Dalolmo will not take long to catch these guys up if they get in a battle.
That's right, and what you saw there was the classic textbook Joker strategy for a turn one Joker, and Killian knows that. There's the best, at the moment, 2.48 as a gap, so would put Killian in front because it's about a 2.5 second Joker. So with Killian chasing down Johansson and Johansson chasing down Harris, this looks like Killian could have this.
So Johansson is from the No Control Esports team. He's showing a lot of control here, though, and you can see again, Neil, something that we've come to notice is the way these guys rotate the car is different than it is in real life. So the first couple of competitions, we had these guys competing with the real life drivers, didn't we? But they use the handbrake a lot more. They rotate the car. They've basically learnt the game dynamics. And some of our real life drivers, like Johan Kristoffersson, for instance, the double World Rallycross champion, has said that he really struggles to adapt his style to drive the car in the way that is fastest in the game because it doesn't suit his real life driving style. And that's pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, there's so much sideways. Sideways really, really early, and quite often, you know, you are seeing barrier sort of pinging past the windscreen of your car, and that is the correct way to drive these tracks, the physics of the game. It's not always the quickest way in real life, but these guys know how to do it in the game, which is why they're consistently very, very quick.
Now, we saw some delays at the start to some of the cars leaving the line. Now, just occasionally, if there's a connection issue, it means that the drivers can be a second out. So while we're seeing them all together here on the screen, it's showing me that Killian Del Olmo is in front. Del Olmo is down at the bottom of the hill, so he is in front. Daniel Johansson here under pressure from Matejka. Or Nigel Cross backing it in. Matejka alongside Johansson now. Johansson have been doing well to hold on, but he loses out now. These three cars absolutely locked in a train. The only person not to a Joker look is John Harris. So Harris out front is trying desperately to get away from Killian Del Olmo, the World Rallycross champion, in this game. 1.9 seconds would be super close. He's going to wait, Neil, until the last lap. You just saw a glimpse there of John Harris with Killian Del Olmo chasing him down. I think Harris running the red livery and Del Olmo with the yellow. So we're seeing the battle for third, fourth and fifth. But it's the top two that are going to go straight through to the final, and then it will be the fastest loser. So one of these three will make it if they don't hold each other up too much with this fight.
Yeah, it's very much not about time now. The semi-finals is all about making it to the top two, and then the time if you're third across the two semi-finals. But this is the last lap for Killian, so
Killian's got him. Looks at Killian Del Olmo with the yellow livery, comes out in front. It wasn't enough time. He needed around 3 seconds from the look of it. It was 1.8, I think, was the gap. It's now 1.1 the other way. So John Harris drops from the lead to P2, and Killian Del Olmo is where we would expect him to be, the Set Esports driver. That Set Promotion, the team that runs Gronholm RX in real life. Jussi Pinamaki has had an esports team for a couple of years now, been across the explosion of popularity, and in fact a number of drivers who take part in his RX Academy series are also very, very good esports drivers. So brilliant stuff by Del Olmo. Books his place in the final with John Harris. Lucas Matejka, look, with a 340.4. So let's make a note of that, because that's going to give us an idea then of whether or not semi-1 or semi-2 is going to see the third driver go through. So Lucas Matejka, 340.468 is currently the man who would go through. But as I say, the second semi-final is going to be where you will find out whether or not they go quicker. So say the quickest loser will go through. Quinton Del Olmo. So yes, he's got a brother. He's very fast. They've actually both competed in real life in cross karts, as has Clara Anderson, another Set Esports driver. You've got Jared Pesh in the middle, who is an Australian esports driver. Tommy Howman is back again for Set. And then Johan Lundqvist on the outside. So Tommy Howman is the driver I mentioned earlier on. If you were with us online for the qualifying, has just completed his Finnish military service. He's back now in a rallycross kart in esports, and we'll expect to see Tommy Howman back in a real rallycross kart later this year. So another good lineup, Neil. I think you'd have to have a bit of money on Del Olmo, wouldn't you? After that, I'm really interested to see how Howman gets on as well. But we're going to get down to the grid, get this race underway. Got to get turn one out of the way before you can start talking about whether or not any of these guys are going to be favourites, I think.
But Del Olmo's in a good position to make the key decision here, that strategy that would affect his race and the race of everyone around him.
Yeah, Del Olmo can push everybody into the Joker by being on the inside line. If he chooses to go Joker, assuming he doesn't lose the start by too much, he could force everybody into the Joker, and that would be a tactical masterclass, because it would mean that nobody would have that tactic to be able to pass him later in the race. But with that pole, he may well choose to take the standard line on the inside. So left-hand side of your screen, Quinton Del Olmo, where's he going to go? He backs the car up. You could see him jump on the brakes, came out of that stream of 4 cars immediately into the Joker lap in the background. Quinton says he's gone Joker. Lundqvist and Tommy Hellman, all gone Joker. So my bad, it's Jared Pesch and Clara Anderson that have chosen to take the standard lap. There is Del Olmo backing it into the hairpin. Yeah, Lundqvist and Tommy Hellman having a fight. Hellman down in 5th place at the minute, so Tommy Hellman trying to find a way through. I think it's Hellman's running the black Peugeot. It's the first time we've seen these guys today. Trying to find a way past Lundqvist. He's inside him, so Hellman is inside Lundqvist on the run down towards the first corner. They've both jokered, so now it's going to be out passing on lap. Runs the car a little bit deep. Lundqvist back in front. Clara Anderson's gone Joker. She dropped behind those guys. And in fact, everybody's Joker. So those who hadn't Joker on lap 1 have Joker on lap 2. And Neil, it's another Del Olmo out front.
It's Del Olmo out front, and the great thing now is that this is a straight fight. We've got no more strategy. It's just about everyone behind Pesch has got to try and overtake each other to have a chance of being in the final. Otherwise, they're just going into the other room of their house to carry on with the rest of their day.
Tommy Hellman down in the bottom right corner. Look, I think he's wearing his race suit, Neil. He's actually, they all sit in a seat. You can see he's actually got belts on his, but Tommy Hellman is wearing his race suit. He's a GRX Tanaco ambassador. So that means I think they've got big plans for him, haven't they, for the future?
Yeah, he's a bright talent, very much so.
Can he do enough here? So he's in P3 now. Tommy Hellman is in P3. Is he going to be able to do enough to take a fast enough time? He's got to beat that time of Lucas Mateja. Mateja was with us for our invitational races as well as for, I think he was with us in Abu Dhabi as well. And he is a proper operator. I say right at the top of the World Championship with Dirt Rally 2.0, which of course is made by Codemasters. If you're interested in playing this game, you can go out and grab it on PS4, Xbox and PC. Motorsport Games are running this competition for us in association with GameBite and Monster Energy Gaming. So some good stuff from all our sponsors to enable you guys to see this. The handling model is developed by Cooper Tyres, who are involved in the real championship as well. So these are actual race tracks designed to the millimetre to match the real tracks. And it's great fun, so go and have a go. Quinton Del Olmo, look, 0.3 of a second. It was showing, alongside Jared Pesch. Tommy Hellman, no, tank snapper for Hellman. Somehow holds on to it. Up the inside, Jared Pesch, I think, trying to make a move on Hellman. These two swapping places. Couldn't be closer between them. So top 2 are going to go through, remember. These 3 guys here are fighting for a definite place and a maybe place. They've got a whole nother lap to go. Quinton Del Olmo is 4.6 seconds up the road. Jared Pesch at the minute and Tommy Hellman fighting it out for that next spot on the grid.
So just a lap and a half to go. These squabbling amongst themselves is slowing down the 3rd place position. So yes, it's all out to get 2nd place, but it was looking good for Hellman to get through in 3rd. But if he doesn't make it stick in 2nd, then he might not make it through in 3rd, if you understand my maths.
I get you, Neil. It's complicated. So basically the top 2 are guaranteed to go through, then it's the fastest loser. So if these guys fight too much, they won't get the fastest loser. Remember, only 2 of these 3 who are in P2 to 5 are going to make it through. So it's a knockout for Tommy Hellman here has had a result, because in the background, Lundqvist and Pesch are getting into each other. You're seeing Tommy Hellman come through. Quinton Del Olmo will have crossed the line already to go through to the final with his brother. Tommy Hellman is going to make it in P2. Fantastic drive by him. And it's Lundqvist who gets 3rd. Lundqvist with a 3:42.9 is not fast enough. So it will be Lucas Mateja, the 3rd place man from semi-final number 1, who's going to make it. In fact, Tommy Hellman was only 0.4 of a second slower than Mateja. So semi-1 was faster than semi-2, but that was a great fight for position 2, 3 and 4 with Hellman, Lundqvist and Pesch. It's a great race between our esports guys. Yeah, super close, Neil.
That's what I was trying to explain, is Tommy Hellman's time there. He had to take a risk to push for 2nd, because his time would not have got him 3rd in the previous race. So he had to push, because that's the only way they could have guaranteed getting through to the semi-final. So yes, semi-final 1 was cleaner and quicker than semi-final 2. Brilliant racing, though. And some proper side-by-side, it's not clinical action. It's not kind of metronomic apexes and slides. It's absolutely perfect. Elbows out. Everyone wants to win.
Yeah,
obviously.
great stuff. If you've ever seen the real life World Rallycross Championship, you'll know that the pace changes. So qualifying is all about time. So drivers often try to stay out of trouble. They want to stay out of trouble to make sure that that they get the right race time. Even if you give up a place, as long as it's still a quick time, if the guy in front of you is fast, it doesn't matter. Come the semi-finals, in real life, it's top 3 go through and the bottom 3 go no further. So semi-finals is always a good time to tune in because it gets real, let's say. We've seen some do or die moves, basically. So I think we're going to be able to take a look back at some replays of the action from those 2 semi-finals from our esports professionals. And then we'll be getting on to the semi-finals for the real life drivers as well. So going to be seeing Timmy Hansen go up against Shane van Gisbergen. This was semi-1, and that start was slightly strange, Neil, which is what made me wonder if there'd been a glitch. But it doesn't look like there was from the way the times played out.
Yeah, of course, Rallycross timing is a brilliant system where kind of ready to race light goes out and then it's a randomized delay before the green light comes on. And on the game, you're always waiting to release the handbrake before you can launch, and you do not want a jump start. So maybe it was a little bit of caution there on the start line to sort of preempt not getting a jump start.
Yeah, we've seen that as well. Again, in real life, if you basically, if you jump the start in real life, you have to do 2 joker laps. You can see the 3 cars in the background doing their jokers there. That was Quinten, Del Olmo, Lundqvist and Hellman. And if you jump the start in real life, you have a second joker lap, so they reset the start, whereas in the game you don't. If you jump the start, it's an instant 30-second penalty, so you know you're out. So, yeah, Neil may well be right there that people will be being a little bit more careful. That was a super sideways moment from Tommy Hellman. He managed to save it, and for me, that save is what booked his place into the final. Great job by him. So Tommy Hellman making it through straight off the back of his Finnish national service, and he's here representing his team, Neil. Great job.
Yeah, and it's, this is one of the reasons that we love this sport so much. Certainly, one of the reasons I love it is there aren't many sports where you can make an overtaking move where both cars are in midair and contact with each other, and that counts as an overtaking move. It is such an amazing sport. I miss it in real life. I'm loving doing it as esports.
Yeah, we're going to be getting back to the real-life action soon, so head to the FIA World Rallycross Championships website or social media feeds if you'd like to catch up with what's happening. Obviously, thanks to COVID, we're not quite sure which events are going to be able to have spectators, if any, this season, so we're going to have to play it by ear and see what happens as the season goes on. But everything around the world is slowly being unlocked thanks to everybody's patience and trying to keep up with the various rules from your various countries. So just stay safe, people, and we'll get motorsport back underway just as soon as we can. Here we go then, semi-final time for our pro drivers. So these are the guys who race real cars in real life, and it turns out that some of them are very, very good at esports as well. On the pole for semi-final number 1, your top qualifier, Timmy Hansen, the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Champion. He won that championship on countback in the final. I think it was the 196th race of the year from Andreas Backert. It was an epic season. Go and watch the final from South Africa if you haven't seen it already from last year. Sivert Svardal next to Timmy. Svardal doing a brilliant job so far this weekend. Kevin Hansen, Timmy's younger brother, who was 3rd in the Real Life World Championship. Tom Blomqvist, he won semi-final 1 last time out in Abu Dhabi. And on the outside is Martin Enland. So heading down to the grid any second now. What's Timmy Hansen going to do from that inside slot? Him and Kevin will definitely have spoken about tactics. So I'm expecting to see Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen in the 2 Peugeots split their strategy. Could be wrong.
You've got to. You've got Kevin Scott to joker.
Yeah, well, you'd like to think. Does depend a bit, doesn't it, on traction. It looks like it's damp conditions, but not raining for the Pro semi-finals. Good start by Blomqvist. Kevin Hansen's been edged out. Oh, sideways. Kevin Hansen gets pushed off to the inside of the track. He's up behind his brother. Super sideways. Martin Enland around the outside. Can't quite pull it off. Ends up just dragging the car back on. Oh, Sivert Svardal with a firm pass up the inside there. Kevin Hansen tailgating the car now, flapping up and down. Svardal having a look up the inside of the world champion Timmy Hansen. Kevin Hansen gets into the door of Svardal as well, and he pushes him wide. Kevin Hansen using all the track, saying to Svardal, if you're going to have some, you're going to get some back. So Svardal getting a squeeze there from Kevin Hansen. Oh, and he runs into the back of Kevin on the way into the hairpin. That pushes Kevin wide. Svardal almost alongside, but can't quite get past. Timmy Hansen in the lead. Neil, what a first lap.
Yeah, and interestingly, Kevin and Timmy were spotting for each other during the qualifying session, but now they're obviously racing against each other, so they must have someone else behind them.
Svardal with a pass there. So Svardal's gone up the inside of Kevin Hansen in turn 2. Kevin looking to go back up the inside in turn 3. Oh, that's a bit cheeky over the inside of the curbs there. Whether it's track limits or not, Svardal runs wide. Tom Blomqvist, look who's jokered. He's now looking like a danger man. Remember, again, only the top 2 go through. There's Blomqvist. Look, he's all over the back of Svardal. Kevin Hansen has lost time. Timmy Hansen's having a clear run here. So it's going the way of the world champion at the minute, the real-life world champion. Svardal's wild and he tags the back of Kevin Hansen. So Svardal is really pushing. Neil, it's a little bit borderline. We might see the stewards get involved, but then Kevin did cut the corner at the bottom of the hill as well. For me, the only person who's having a super clean race is Timmy out front.
Yeah, so this isn't affecting Timmy at all, but every time Kevin and Sivert Svardal have contact, it's slowing Kevin down and putting him in the clutches of Tom Blomqvist. So when Kevin jokers, at the moment, I think Tom will take second place. So all these bits of contact, which will be sort of cumulatively looked at by the stewards, and driving standards are being very closely looked at, but whatever happens, the time, Kevin will not be able to get that back.
So Tom Blomqvist, who you're following now in the black Peugeot, coming under a bit of pressure, and Enland's just barged him off. So that, for me, was very harsh by Enland again. Well, it's a shame, Neil. I think the stewards are going to get involved in this 100%. So at the moment, I think it might be a case of Timmy Hansen, Kevin Hansen. To be honest with you, they might not have to, because Timmy and Kevin here, I think with the gaps now, it's tight for Kevin. With Martin Enland, it is tight for Kevin as to whether or not he can get the joker done. And he's got to get it done on one of these next 2 laps. So Timmy and Kevin have both got to joker on the next 2 laps. And Kevin could come under some pressure from Martin. But at the minute, Neil, all those 3 drivers at the back of the pack I think are going to get a little bit of investigation. Maybe not Blomqvist, but definitely Svardal and Enland, 100%.
Of course, you have to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because the track is wet. You know, they don't have the same level of control as they do when it's purely dry, but still, a couple of times they have overshot, made contact a little bit too hard when it wasn't strictly necessary or forgivable.
Yeah, I must say, both the times I've seen, I think if I was a steward, I know what I'd be saying. So Timmy Hansen, look, a picture of concentration. Somebody filming in the background as well. I suspect that, I'm not sure if that's Susan Hansen, their mum, in the background filming the 2 of them both into the semis. Timmy's done his joker. Where's Kevin? He's come out in front of Enland by a 1/10 of a second. It's side by side, looking at the timing screen, changing. There is Enland right behind Kevin Hansen. Kevin did get out in front. Enland going to try and make a pass. Oh, he backs the car in 100% backwards at the entry point of the hairpin at the bottom of the hill, trying to find the traction on the run up the hill. We're on the final lap of semi-final 1 for the pro drivers. Timmy Hansen, around the long right hand of the World Rallycross champion, is going to go through to pole in the final. Great job by him. Kevin Hansen's going to go through with him. And Martin Enland is 3rd in this race. So Enland's time, look, of 3:44.1 is the one you need to check out to see whether or not we're going to get a fastest loser from Semi 1 or from Semi 2. But to give you an idea, Lucas Matasia from the esports guys did a 3:40 in 3rd place. So that gives you, again, an indicator of how quick the esports races are. And now last time, Shane van Gisbergen was our winner, and he, in fact, was quicker than the esports drivers. We've seen him be absolutely clinical in wet conditions in qualifying today. So the Aussie V8's driver from New Zealand on pole in this one, and I think looking favourite to take the win based on the form so far. Birmingrud, Henrik Krogstad, Fail Race. If you're not familiar with Fail Race, that's Alex Day. He's a British YouTuber, very famous within the esports world. And Matvey Farashkin, who stepped up to the World Rallycross Championship last year in a Skoda with ES Motorsport. Krogstad running for the yellow squad. That is the team of Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen. So we've got loads of drivers here with a great background in Rallycross. Birmingrud won a Super 1600 event last year. Should be a fantastic race. What can Alex Day do? The only one of these guys who isn't a professional driver, but I say he's a professional esports YouTuber. So here we go. We're behind Krogstad on the grid, ready to race. Light comes on. Van Gisbergen is on the inside. Shane Van Gisbergen is key to the tactics in the first corner. It's an equal start. A great start then by Van Gisbergen. Is he going to go joker or standard lap? He backs it up and goes standard lap. Henrik Krogstad on his outside. Opens up the steering angle just a bit and pushes Krogstad wide. I tell you what, he is a wily competitor. Shane Van Gisbergen, shades of Johan Kristoffersen, the double World Rallycross champion for me. He's just got that awareness, and for me, he opened up his line slightly there to force Krogstad wide, but he's still in a fight here with Birmingrud. Birmingrud trying to come past Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen on board as he comes in. Look at that, doesn't use any of the gravel on the outside. Neil, he's so smooth and so accurate. Krogstad in the background trying to make a pass. Watch for Krogstad on Birmingrud. Oh, I thought he got him, but not alongside, just by enough.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so good to watch his body language. It's like a really good boxer or a UFC fighter. He kind of opened up enough and then went for the sucker punch. It was really, really smart move, but he's got the skills to back it up, you know. He's slightly wrong-footed, Ermengrud and Krogstad in those first few corners, and now he's just pulling out the lead. And we know how quick he was in the qualifying heats when it was wet, like it is now. So not raining, just slightly slippery.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen had a couple of issues in Q1 and Q2 today. If you're joining us on normal TV, traditional TV, you can actually be with us on the stream an hour and a half earlier and see all of the qualifying sessions as well. Van Gisbergen didn't have it all his own way in the dry conditions, but when it was wet, he absolutely destroyed it. He was very, very good indeed. Brilliant driver. There's some amazing onboards. You could go down a YouTube wormhole watching Shane Van Gisbergen onboards in an Aussie V8. I mean, you know, some of the pole laps and things just amazing. So, get out there and have a look if you haven't seen it already. Ermengrud in P2, 1.4 off the back. What's he got over Krogstad? It's going to be tight, Neil, between Ermengrud and Krogstad if Ermengrud chooses to joker. I wonder if he'll stay up and try and increase that gap.
He's got to, otherwise he's going to come out behind Krogstad. I think that Ermengrud's got to really, really push now. He's got no one ahead of him, no one in his way. So he's really got to do like practice laps to try and extend the gap, because he's got to joker, and he'll know that someone will be telling him that Krogstad
is coming down too. The gap's coming down. Krogstad was 2.8 back then, 2.7. It's now 2.5. So Henrik Krogstad, and now it's 2.2. So Henrik Krogstad is hunting down Marius Ermengrud in front. Ermengrud hasn't jokered yet. So Krogstad should get the second place, and that will stick him straight through. In goes Ermengrud now. Marius Ermengrud from P2, trying to hold on to that position. Henrik Krogstad, though, has got him. He's just 0.4 of a second back with a lap to go. So Ermengrud knew he was losing time, Neil. He's probably jokered just one lap too late. If he'd gone a lap earlier, he might just have held on to that position. He'd have been under a lot of pressure from Krogstad, but he could have at least kept the door closed.
Yeah, it's a real shame. The strategy went slightly wrong there, and what this is very good, but, you know, Ermengrud's time is good. I mean, he's got to beat Enland's time in the other semi-final to make it through as the third place, the sort of fifth wheel, if you like, in the final. This is a fast heat, so I reckon he's got a chance of being third place going through.
So Shane Van Gisbergen has jokered and is 1.6 seconds up the road from Henrik Krogstad. Great job by him. There is Van Gisbergen into the hairpin. Krogstad now with a 1 second lead over Ermengrud. So Ermengrud is aiming for the time of 3:44.1, which was Enland from the first semi-final. So Shane Van Gisbergen going to go through. He'll be alongside Timmy Hansen on the grid. Henrik Krogstad's booked a spot as well. Marius Ermengrud, 3:42. I think Ermengrud's going to get a 3:42. He does. 3:42.4. So it will be Ermengrud who goes through, unless the stewards step in about anything we haven't seen. It's going to be Ermengrud who makes it through as the fastest loser of our real-life drivers. So he will be in the final. But Shane Van Gisbergen with another epic performance. We've got penalties coming. Race controller telling me we've got penalties coming. So let's wait and see who they're for, and maybe that from the first semi. Okay, from the first semi. You'll be worried there. I thought I might have missed something, Neil, but it turns out it's from the first semi-final. So I wonder if that's involving anyone who we thought was going through. So still all to play for.
Yeah, that semi-final too was very clean, and as I kind of foresaw, just as long as he was fast, Marius Ermengrud did make it through, despite the fact that he had to sort of made a slight strategic error. Krogstad took second place, but still very, very good pace from Ermengrud, and because it was a clean race, made it through to the final as the kind of fifth spot.
So we've got Kevin Hansen has been given a 5-second penalty. That puts him on a 3:48.6. Martin Enland gets a 5-second penalty, 3:49.1. And then Sivert Svardal with a 5-second penalty, a 3:51. So that seems to suggest that maybe Kevin is with the 5-second penalty going to go through as the fastest loser. I'm not sure. We're waiting on a grid from race control. As soon as we've got that, you'll have to forgive us looking down at our devices. We're getting our information from race control via those. So 2 races to go. We've got the final for the esports drivers, and we've got the final for our real-life drivers in round 2 of this, the FIA World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. We've had 4 esports events so far this year. We had 2 invitationals, which were kind of just for fun. See if you guys liked it. Luckily, you liked it enough that we're now halfway through a series. I say next week we'll be heading to Hollius, Neil, and that's a Rallycross classic, isn't it?
Yeah, I can imagine there'll be people lining up to be involved next week. Some very big names. Of course, Charles Leclerc loved being with us last time, and he would have done it again today, but he's actually on proper Formula One duty testing on the sim in Maranello. So we can kind of forgive him not being able to turn up today. But, people really would love to have a go for real at places like Hell and Holius, but to have a chance to do it in the game among some of the best in the world is just a dream. So yes, next week, Helios, this week, we're in hell.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning as well that, the esports and simulators, the F1 drivers using simulators, they run a third car as a simulator during a Grand Prix, and they will make changes on the simulator, and the test driver will say, make this change or not at the next pit stop in real life. So it is incredible, the accuracy, and that's why Charles Leclerc is in a simulator right now, driving this year's Ferrari ahead of F1 coming back. Absolutely incredible technology involved, and I think you can see there why the crossover between esports and real motorsport is so significant. Absolutely great stuff. Right, here we go. Let's take a look back. So this was the first of our sim. I wonder if we can see why there's going to be a 5-second penalty for those drivers. So this was that was a nice wall ride there. Neil, was that the one you were talking about, the Tony Hawk move?
Yeah.
There's another simulator that's coming out soon. A little bit different, isn't it, with Tony Hawk? Because you can do stuff in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which you definitely can't do in real life. But yeah,
Speak
looking
for
forward to
yourself.
Vincent crossover there too. Oh yeah. Neil's quite the skateboarder. You know Bucky Lasek, but he's not bad. But yeah, Bucky Lasek, in fact, if you're into your skateboarding, has also done some rallycross in real life. So there's even crossover between the extreme sports and real motorsport. This was Semi 2. Shane Van Gisbergen on the inside here. Look. Checks up nice and early, and he's lucky that behind him everybody is on a similar tactic. Alex Day, that was in the background making a mistake, or did he have contact maybe with Farashkin up in the Joker lap? But a few penalties in that first semi-final. So we're just waiting on seeing a final grid. I'm just checking now. Hang on, I think we've got it, have we?
Such great racecraft there from the Gears. It's beautiful to watch how he handled turn one. Sideways, but not as sideways as everyone else, and then just keeps his nose ahead down into the roller coaster downhill section was great to watch. I could watch that again.
Now looking at my notes, Neil, here we've had a message through which I'm assuming is the grid. Hold on just a second. We've got Timmy Hansen, Shane Van Gisbergen, Tom Blomqvist, Henrik Krogstad, and Marius Bermingrid. So that 5-second penalty for Kevin Hansen has cost him a place in the final. So that's a bit of a disaster for the guy who was third place in the Real Life World Rallycross Championship last year. It's Timmy Hansen who's going to be on pole from Van Gisbergen, and then we're seeing Blomqvist, Krogstad, and Bermingrid. But I can see more questions being asked than answered in the stewards group at the minute. So I think this is and genuinely, where normally you go running up with your spotter and all your onboards to the stewards and start going, no, you're wrong. He pushed me off. It's his fault. Right now, that people will be frantically WhatsApping race control from Sweden and going, no, I'll show you my onboard. And in fact, we do have a way that we can look back at the onboards from the racing. So we can see the feed that you guys see at home that we're commentating on, but also the drivers have to record each race from on board, just like in real life, so that the stewards can go back and look at it. But yeah, that's what we think the grid is as it stands. So we should have an esports final coming up for you soon. Neil, that's pretty typical semi-finals.
It's controversial, isn't it? But the stewards were very kind to Kevin because they took away a penalty which the game had applied. So everything's kind of evens out in the end.
Right, let's take a look at the grid then for our esports final. This is round 2 of World RX's Esports Series, and this is for the esports drivers. So look, we've got the brothers on the inside, Killian Del Olmo and Quinton Del Olmo. So the two of them right at the top of their game, and it will be interesting to see which of these two can take the win. John Harris in the middle of the grid. Tommy Howman is in P4 and Lucas Mateja in P5. It was the Del Olmos and Mateja who were in our 2 invitationals. Harris and Howman have joined us more recently, but they're all very quick indeed. So make a note of the colours if you can. Killian is in the yellow Peugeot. Quinton is in the blue. And then you've got Lucas in the green and John in the red. Tommy Howman with the Darth Vader livery, as we've been calling it. 2 set esports drivers in this one. Let's see who's going to take the win. Who's your money on, Neil?
This is tricky, but I would say from the track position, I would go for Killian. Killian can completely dictate what happens here. So it's Killian or Tommy Hellman for me, because they can be split strategies. I reckon that those are the two to watch.
Right, we'll see, won't we, if any of these others can get in the mix. We're just waiting now for the last of the drivers to get into the lobby, which is where they go in the game before they head to the grid. We have a pre-grid in real life, which is where you'll find Neil Cole trying not to get run over.
Yeah.
Who got run over, Neil, that time? Was it Christopherson? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Johan Christopherson. Yeah.
By Sebastian Loeb's car, wasn't it?
That was correct. Yeah. It
wasn't Loeb. This sounds out of context motorsport. It sounds very bad, doesn't it? Basically, Christopherson, our double World Rallycross champion prior to Timmy Hansen winning the championship last year, was in the pre-grid, and Sebastian Loeb's car was being moved, I think, by the team, if I remember correctly, being pushed, and they rolled it over Christopherson's foot, and he kept it a secret from everyone because he didn't want them to know how badly hurt he was, and it was quite painful, I believe. I think he didn't take his boot off that night because he knew that if he took his race boot off, his foot would swell up and he wouldn't get it back on. So he slept with his race boots on in a lot of pain. But then, if I remember correctly, Neil, I'm pretty sure he won the following day.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's completely nails, isn't he? But I was there for all of that, and there was like a huddle, a Volkswagen PSRX huddle around Johan. And then he got taken away, and you kind of go, what's going on there? And they kind of kept a lid on it. But yes, I think the Loeb's Peugeot was just being pushed and the wheel rolled over, that kind of, it's one of those slow, painful accidents that you can't really avoid, but it's really, really sore when it happens.
But yeah, very different from my initial statement, which was that Sebastian Loeb ran over Johan Christopherson. He didn't.
Fake news.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Allegedly. Right, here we go. We're going to get down to the grid. Here we go. So tyres are cleaned virtually just as they are in real life. We've got 5 cars on the line looking to take the win in round 2 and during a beautiful sunset in Norway. I can tell you, you don't see a sunset in Norway until 3 in the morning. So this would be a very late race because at this time of year, they're close enough to be included pretty much in the land of the midnight sun. So let's see who's going to take the win this time out. We're behind John Harris, who gets a great start, I think it is, but I know, so yeah. Oh, the inside, Del Olmo, Quinton Del Olmo goes to the standard lap, and his brother goes off to the Joker. Matasia's gone, Matasia's definitely got Joker. Both of Del Olmo's maybe got standard lap. They have Killian Del Olmo leading then, so it's Killian Del Olmo from Tommy Howman and Quinton Del Olmo. So Quinton Del Olmo didn't go, it was Matasia who went in the green liveried car. He's gone with John Harris. Those guys are, nearly a second apart, but they're 2.6 off the back of the pack. So Killian Del Olmo now in the box seat, basically from the pole, Neil. He's just got to make no mistakes and try and extend that gap. While behind him, look, Quinton is having a decent battle with Tommy Howman. Howman's trying to go around the outside. I wonder if Howman might go Joker this time. He doesn't. Howman's now up the inside. Quinton Del Olmo. Quinton Del Olmo now will return the favour as they go into the left-hander. So Quinton Del Olmo, you're on board with Howman, looking at Quinton Del Olmo just in front. Howman now looks to the inside. Del Olmo's on the handbrake super early. In the background, you can see John Harris now is just 1.6 seconds off the back, and Harris is already jokered. So Killian Del Olmo, the only guy out front who isn't getting himself in a spot of bother, Neil.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I reckon that if we'd seen Quentin Joker on the first lap as well, then he might be out front with his brother. But now these two scrapping with each other, and they've got very different lines as well. Holman isn't quite as wide and sideways as Del Olmo, but John Harris very much in the mix with these guys because he has already Joker.
Look at the concentration on Howman's face down in the bottom corner there. You can see he's absolutely sideways. Again, using between 90 and 180 degrees of rotation roughly on the wheel, which is pretty standard for real life. I know some of the drivers set their wheels up differently for esports. Oh, sideways in the background. John Harris over that crest in the red-coloured Peugeot behind Tommy Howman, trying to close him down. And I think Harris is now 1.1 second off, so yeah, load less. He's 9/10 of a second off the back. So Harris is definitely closing Howman down. Howman really needs to hope that Harris gets a bit of harassment from Matasia behind him. Again, there's that super early handbrake, snap the car in and get back on the throttle that you see from the esports drivers.
Yeah, you won't be seeing that too much, even from an esports expert like Shane van Gisbergen. They're not quite as wild and sideways as these guys, but it is quicker in the game. It's much quicker because of the physics.
Handbrake on the run into the first corner there for Killian Del Olmo. Quinton Del Olmo just 1.1 off the back of him. 1.4 back to Howman. So I'm looking at, 2.3 seconds between John Harris and Quinton Del Olmo. John Harris here could be on for P2, Neil. It's going to be a very close merge between the guys in P4 and 5 and the guys in P2 and 3. And it's all going to happen on this next lap. So here we go. Quinton Dell'Olmo with a 1 second lead over his brother. Coming around to take the line on the last lap. They're heading on to lap 6 now, so they're going to have to Joker this time round. Watch for the Dell'Olmos and Howman, all going to go Joker. John Harris on the inside line, watching for Kylian Dell'Olmo in the yellow Peugeot. Is he going to come out in front? He does. Oh, and Quinton Dell'Olmo's with him. John Harris and Matasia in each other's doors, but they can't get up to the Dell'Olmo brothers in front. Harris frantically trying to protect his position from Matasia. Matasia's in backwards. Can Howman benefit from that? Tommy Howman trying to pick up the pieces at the back of the pack. He's not quite there. And it's going to be a Dell'Olmo 1-2. Kylian Dell'Olmo through the last right-hander to take the win over the line. The world champion in Dirt Rally 2.0 shows you why he has that position. Quinton Dell'Olmo crosses the line in second. And the UK's John Harris gets third. Matasia and Howman in fourth and fifth. But look at that on the right-hand side of your screen. 2.4 seconds separating the entire of the top 5. But a great result for the two Dell'Olmos. It's a 1-2 for the French lads. Right, we're headed straight into the final for the FIA World Rallycross Championships Esports Series, and this is for the professional drivers. Timmy Hansen, the World Rallycross Champion, top qualifier and winner of Semi-1, looking for maximum points here. Shane van Gisbergen, currently the championship leader. He was just 1 point off a maximum score last time out in Abu Dhabi. Don't count out Tom Blomqvist. He beat Van Gisbergen, was the only driver to do so at Abu Dhabi last time. And we've seen that Henrik Krogstad and Marius Bermingrud have got what it takes to run with these absolutely top-level drivers as well. So this should be a fantastic fight. Neil, who's your money on?
Well, that's an impossible question, but I would say that the Timmy Hansen, the two Peugeots on the left of your screen, as opposed to the other three Peugeots, are the ones to watch, because Timmy Hansen and Shane van Gisbergen traded qualifying wins, and they are clearly the two best.
Here we go then, final time at the Lonkabanen Hell in Norway, round 2 of the World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. And you've got the World Rallycross Champion on pole with Shane van Gisbergen, the V8 legend, Kiwi that competes in Australia and is very handy indeed in the virtual world of Rallycross. The ready to race light comes on for our final race of this weekend. Looking for the green. Oh, it's a good start. Timmy Hansen on the inside. Shane van Gisbergen goes backwards. Blomqvist moving across, contact between them. Van Gisbergen goes straight to the Joker. So Van Gisbergen's gone Joker. I think it's Bermingrud has gone with him. So Shane van Gisbergen Jokers immediately. And it is Bermingrud, yeah, so Bermingrud's gone with him. So Krogstad now right up behind Blomqvist, but Timmy Hansen's a little bit deep in the hairpin, straight exit. Blomqvist is right in underneath his rear bumper. Van Gisbergen now's got to put the laps in. I wonder if Timmy will go for an early Joker to defend it, or if he's going to stay out. Neil, if he does his normal tactics, Timmy will stay out, won't he?
Yeah, Timmy would normally stay out at this point and just try and nail all these laps until lap 6.
He's going Joker. He's going Joker. Hansen goes Joker on lap 2 to try and defend his position from Shane van Gisbergen. And Van Gisbergen has come out just behind him. Timmy Hansen knew, and Van Gisbergen makes the pass. On the handbrake early, Hansen runs wide. Shane van Gisbergen makes a pass on the World Rallycross Champion in turn 2. Timmy Hansen flipping his tactics from real life through to esports. He knew Van Gisbergen would have pace, and he responded by jokering on lap 2. So, Neil, that just goes to show you what a threat he sees Van Gisbergen as, and at the minute, Van Gisbergen leads him.
Yeah, you know, he completely flummoxed us, but he was flummoxed by Shane van Gisbergen, who now, with the way that the Joker strategy is playing out, Shane just needs to bring this home. You know, he's got 2 drivers ahead of him, but he knows they haven't jokered. Timmy Hansen's having to deal with Bermingrud behind him.
Yeah.
As well as
he's trying to block. This is playing into Van Gisbergen's hands. Timmy runs the car out wide, trying to find a bit of extra traction. Van Gisbergen doesn't use that piece of track and doesn't seem to need to get the lap times. You're on board with Van Gisbergen now, looking back for Hansen. There's Hansen. Hansen coming under pressure from Bermingrud. Bermingrud is right with him, but at the minute can't find a way through. Big jump from Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen's early, and Neil, I think he used the handbrake there, and you said, didn't you, that's very rare. Oh, Bermingrud's made a pass. So Bermingrud looks at the inside of Timmy Hansen. Timmy's defending again into the next hairpin. And then Krogstad's got in the mix. He must have come out the Joker lap merge, and now Krogstad is behind. But Krogstad, of course, runs for Yellow Squad in real life. Neil, do you think there'll be any support for the team boss here, Timmy Hansen, when Krogstad drives for their team in real life?
Yes, definitely. He's doing a job to protect Timmy Hansen, definitely.
Well, Birmingham's going to try and pass him anyway. Birmingham almost had enough traction there to get past Krogstad. Blomqvist, the only driver not to have jokered. And Blomqvist is 3.8 in front, Neil. That 3.2 is enough, we think. Could Blomqvist pull a blinder here?
Well, he was very good last time out, and there's no reason why the talented GT racer, son of the Stig, shouldn't do it here. And it looks like he's got the time.
So this time Van Gisbergen does use every inch of the track. They're coming over the crest towards the last right-hander. Then they're going to cross the timing line onto the last lap. Blomqvist must joker now. Has he got enough time to come out in front of Van Gisbergen? He's made a mistake. Runs the car up the gravel on the outside, cuts the curb on the inside. Where's Van Gisbergen? Van Gisbergen's behind him. Blomqvist comes from the merge on the final lap. And Blomqvist is in front of Shane Van Gisbergen. Despite the mistake in the joke lap, he must have put in some incredible laps. He's got to hold on now. There's just 3 corners to go, but Tom Blomqvist, the only driver to beat Shane Van Gisbergen last time out in Abu Dhabi, looks like he's going to hold on and take the win here at the second round of the World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. It is Blomqvist who takes the flag in hell, kicks the car sideways over the line. Van Gisbergen second, and Timmy Hansen in third. Wow, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, especially as in turn 1, it looked like Shane sort of edged Tom slightly out. Do you remember? It was like a slight nudge, not quite elbows, not quite contact, but the body language was very much, I'm just going to show you, Tom. I'm going to let you have to give me a little bit of room. And Tom paid him back 6 laps later. Wow.
Yeah, absolute brilliant driving by Blomqvist. And while we were looking at the front to see what was going to happen with that, it's interesting that Timmy Hansen responded immediately to Shane Van Gisbergen taking that joker and knowing that there was going to be pressure there. So he responded with his joker on lap 2, knowing then that he'd be able to hold Van Gisbergen off, but he couldn't because Van Gisbergen had done such a good job of his joker in his lap 1 that he got him. But meanwhile, Tom, I reckon, Neil, that Tom was potentially released as well from a fight because somebody jokered, was it Birmingham, I think, jokered on lap 3. That's then released Blomqvist, and he's just got the laps done. That's an epic performance.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the point, is if you've got clear air front and back, then I've said it before, I'll say it again, you can just put in your practice laps. You can hit all your apexes. You're not worried about having cars either side, having to overtake, looking out for anyone either side, not having a spotter. So that is where you are absolutely able to hit all of your apexes. And he's a very quick driver, as you saw last time and we've seen today. But I think there'll have been a little bit in the back of his mind that Shane, that the gears tried to get into his head on turn 1 and Tom wasn't having any of it. It's very, very good to watch that kind of psychological and physical road tactics.
Yeah, so fantastic job by Tom Blomqvist. He's stuck it to both the guys who were ahead of him in terms of points in the championship here at round 2. We're at the halfway point. I'm sure we'll have the championship standings for you before the end of the show. Of course, the stewards will be looking at the replays as well to make sure there's been no foul play. I must admit, Neil, I thought that was one of our cleaner races.
Yeah, it looked clean to me. I mean, we can't see everything all the time, but no one seemed to punt anyone off sort of dramatically like we've seen in some of our earlier races. That's for sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Fantastic racing from our pro drivers. One thing I didn't spot was what the time was. And last time I say that the real life drivers were super close to the esports drivers. This time around, it looked like they'd edged it to me in terms of pace. The esports drivers were that bit quicker, but we'll maybe have a look at that. And if we can't find it now, we'll have it ready for you for next week. So I'll say, next week, you'll be able to join us from Holjes in Sweden for round 3. And then I say we finished off the series down at Cape Town as well. In the meantime, we've got the championship standings for you after round 2 here at the Lonkabanen Circuit, Hell in Norway. This really is a place called Hell. And Shane Van Gisbergen leads the championship by 6 points from Timmy Hansen. So the maximum score you can have at this point is 60. So Van Gisbergen's done a brilliant job to be leading at this point from Timmy Hansen. Tom Blomqvist is in P3, 9 points behind Timmy Hansen. So his win today has done him a fantastic job in terms of moving up those points tables. Henrik Krogstad is 4th. Kevin Hansen didn't make the finals day. He's in 5th, equal on points with Krogstad, who in fact drives for his yellow squad team. Then you've got fail race Alex Day in 6th place. Rokas Pachuska, who again didn't make it through today. He's in 7th. Martin Enland is in 8th place. I'm trying to see whether or not we can see what's coming in. Here we go. There's the rest of your standings for you. Van der Linde, Farashkin, McConnell, Scott Pye, Charles Leclerc, of course, the Ferrari F1 driver. Yep, he took part last time. Padden Bakkerud, who, of course, was the runner-up in the World Rallycross Championship last year in real life. And we are very pleased today to be joined by Orhan Avcolu as well. So great to have so many top drivers. I'm just checking what we're looking at on our little group here from the stewards to see if we've got any issues.
This is the point,
look like
Andrew,
we have.
I would be hovering around the race control office with a microphone and a camera person, trying not to make too much eye contact with anyone, because you'll have 5 team bosses and about 7 drivers all being called in one at a time to give their side of the story.
Yeah,
That's where I'd normally be.
Cape Town last year was the ultimate example of that, wasn't it? The world championship to be decided by a look at replays by stewards, and that was. Well, okay, so we're hoping to have a chat with Tom Blomqvist in a minute, so we're going to see if we can get that lined up. So Tom will be hopefully having a chat with us, and we can talk to him about his tactics in the final, because it was an absolutely brilliant performance. So if we can get a chat with him, we will. So if you've enjoyed this, then get yourself onto YouTube and go and have a look for some of the real-life finals. I'd like you to go and look up Semi-Final 2 Hockenheim 2015 is a good one. Cape Town World RX, the final last year. If you want to see the closest FIA World Championship of 2019, it was us. It was the World Rallycross Championship. It was epic. Go and find that final, because it was just, the tension was incredible. Heat races, semi-finals, finals, and it all came down to one last race. Neil, it's one of the highlights of my involvement in this wonderful series.
And it was historic. It was only, I think, the 4th time ever that an FIA World Championship season has ended level on points and had to be decided by countback, by results. I mean, that's how close it was. Last race of the season, considering how many races there are in an entire season, last race of the season, and decided on countback because it was level. That's the beauty of this sport.
Epic. Right, let's have a chat with Tom Blomqvist, our winner. Where is Tom? I think we'll be able to slot him into another box on the screen somewhere. There he is. Tom, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Well, for me, it's very early in the morning, mate. But
where are you?
Quite happy with that. I'm in New Zealand. I've been riding out the storm in New Zealand.
Awesome, that's amazing. Okay, so you've been up early with Shane Van Gisbergen as well. Tell us about that final, because for us, we were focusing on the front. Shane jokered on lap 1. Timmy responded to on lap 2, so he obviously felt that Shane was going to be a threat in terms of lap time. And then, did you get released from a fight? Did you? What happened to you on lap 3?
Well, I think I was struggling in the wet, to be honest. I knew I had quite good pace. I've been practicing a bit. I knew I had really good pace in the dry. So when I got kind of a decent position at start there, and then Timmy went for the joker straight away, I just knew if I just got some clean air and just pumped out some good lap times, I should be in with a shot. I mean, I knew Shane was going to be strong. I mean, the guy's a freak on here. So, but yeah, I smashed out, I think, 2 of the fastest laps I've done over the last day of practice. So yeah, it all kind of came together, and I nearly messed up the joker lap, but other than that, worked out well.
In terms of practice, Tom, what's your kind of ratio of wet laps to dry laps, joker laps to standard laps? Because I mean, I've been doing a little bit of competing, and you just want to do lap after lap after lap of standard lap. It's like, I've got to do some joker time now. It's like doing your least favorite exercise.
Oh, totally, mate. That's why I was so bad at Joker. No, to be honest, you can do this free play mode, and they give you 8 laps, so 8 laps, and every time I just try and do 1. But I didn't do too much wet, so that kind of showed. But anyway, the guys did put on a great event, and it's really cool to be a part of. So yeah, thanks for inviting me, and I really enjoyed it.
Tom, thank you very much indeed for giving us your time. We really appreciate you and all the other drivers. Yeah, man. And look, hopefully you're going to be with us for a few more. I don't know how your calendar's looking, but well done on your win today.
I think I've still got a bit of time.
All right, brilliant. Well done. Thank you, Tom Blomqvist, the winner of round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. Brilliant job by him. Neil, another fantastic race weekend, and looking forward to one next week as well.
Yeah, definitely. And, we go from Hell in Norway, which is quite far north, to Höljes in Sweden, which is a little bit more further south, but still an amazing Scandinavian rallycross classic.
Yeah, it's another roller coaster of a track, and it's the one that they all want to win at. It's described as the Monaco of the World Rallycross Championship. I can tell you it couldn't be further from Monaco in terms of what it's like being in the forest there when you're with 30,000 Scandinavian fans who go there for a big party and to watch a brilliant race. But Höljes is an absolute cracker. So Neil Cole, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. We look forward to seeing Neil next weekend in Sweden, and I hope that we'll be able to see as many of you guys there as well as we resume battle for the World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. See you then.